Hey, good evening. Good Sunday evening to all of you. What is up? What is up, Dave? What's up, buddy? How's it going, man?
Good. How about you? How about you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for agreeing to do this with me, man.
Thank you for having me, actually. Kind of nervous.
Absolutely. No, my pleasure. For sure. Everybody, please give a warm welcome to my new friend, Dave. Who was nice enough to say yes to me when I asked him. And so just so you guys know how easy it is when you put yourself out there at times to make, friends and meet new people. So you know how Dave and I met is simply that a few weeks ago, I noticed that I was on CAF. And I noticed that, some people had put likes or comments and whatnot on some pieces in my gallery. And one of them was Dave. And I was like, oh, okay, that's a name that I'm not familiar with. And so as I'm usually want to do in those situations, I'm curious. And I say, oh, let me see what he's got in his collection. And so I went into his gallery and I was like, oh, okay, cool, good stuff, nice. And read a little bit of the things he was saying in his descriptions and whatnot, and thought he might have an interesting story to tell and some really cool art to show. And so I just reached out immediately like that and asked him to come on with me. And he said, yeah, immediately. And he asked if we could first have a little private conversation to see how that goes. And I gotta happily tell you all, that you all know that I can talk. We all know that. That's not a secret. But as I always say, if I'm talking with people for hours on end, you know that it's a two-way street. It's not just me. Obviously, the other person I'm speaking with has to be wanting to speak too. Otherwise, the conversation wouldn't last as long as they typically do. And I can tell you very happily, Dave and I had a just short, I want to say, I think it was 7 or 8 minutes short of a 4-hour conversation. And that was our very first time speaking together. And it was a great time. We had so much fun. Right, Dave?
It was totally great. I enjoyed it. It was a really good night, actually.
Yeah, that's awesome. So there you go, everybody. But okay. Happily, I'm seeing already 40 comments that I haven't seen yet. So that's crazy. That usually means that I'm going to be behind with all the comments all show long. However, I'm happy to report, well, not super happy about it, but shockingly, this is the first time since I started doing promos for my friends who have small YouTube channels, where nobody who I typically promo put out a video this week. At least if you did, I somehow didn't catch it. But anyway, so I have nobody to promo. I do. Let me see. Oh yeah, no promos, but I can say that I wanted to shout out. There was a few new subscribers this week, but I couldn't see any of your names due to your own privacy settings. So thank you, those of you. Hopefully you're watching out there either live now or on rewind, and I appreciate that. But yeah, no other videos to promote. So I'm going to jump in and that'll save us time and it'll allow me to start catching up quickly, saying hello to you guys in the chat. And as we catch up the comments, and then I'll do Nikki B's promo after. So let me jump in and say hello to everybody. Of course, John's Comics with Kids was here very early. Left. Okay, there you go. Starting to prep a chicken for dinner. Nice. Waiting for your fine entertainment. Nice, man. I hope you enjoyed the chicken. Good to see you, John. Thank you. And of course, Comic Art Boston. Thank you for dropping by and staying for as long as you can. That'll be very nice. Lovely to have you, as always. And of course, Mr. Red Jack. What is up? I hope you're in fine spirits. And thank you for always doing your warm welcomes to everybody. Here they are. Look at that. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. What is up, Sonny? Sonny, I can use a little sun here, man. It's like, well, you can't see behind me because my blinds are down. But it was pissing rain earlier, like crazy, sort of one of those late August into September Florida monsoon type rain. Crazy. But good to see you, man. Like what you hear, then subscribe to the channel for future updates. Yeah. But as I always say, I want to say thank you, Brian. But I want to say, if you're here for the first time, don't subscribe unless you enjoy what you're seeing and listening to, and think that you'd probably be back and are interested in seeing more content from this channel. I only want people who are viewers to be subscribers. Okay, so don't do it just to do me the favor if you don't plan on coming back. That's what I'm saying. But thank you. What else we got here? Who else is in the house? Number one Morrow fan. What's up, Tom? What's up? Good to see you. Good to see you, Jason. What's up? Of course, I said hi to you first. Good evening to you, Rickster. Good to see you. Thanks for dropping in, as always. My lovely wife, Vivian, the biggest collector of them all. What's up, Vivian? Happy long weekend to you, of course. You can stay up late tonight, imagine. I don't know if you guys heard that. She said, 10 o'clock, I'm dead. Yeah, she's going to be an early sleeper. Early riser, early sleeper. Hello, Dave, Ruben, and the chat. What's up, CJ? Good to see you. Thank you, my friend. We do, Marcus. What's up, Marcus? Indeed, we do indeed have Labor Day. And just like Christmas, it's on the same day as you guys. Yeah, this Labor Day is not Thanksgiving. Yeah, so I guess we could say that's more like the exception than the rule. What's up, Peter? Good evening to you, my friend. Drinking a wine cooler. Nice. Getting drunk on the wine coolers before the show even starts. I like that. Who else do we have? Mickey here, lurking. Very nice. I like that. What's up, Mickey? And yay, one more day. Awesome. There you go. Vivian's welcoming you, Dave. And of course, Dave thanks you. John Brown, as always, what's up? Good evening to you, my friend. Tom, what's up? Hello from Chicago. Hello from Montreal. Hello from SoCal. In case anybody's wondering where Dave is. Sunny SoCal, I want to say, because it's rarely not sunny. Is it sunny today, Dave?
It was quite hot, actually. Yeah.
Hot? Yeah.
Quite hot.
Yeah, that's what I expect from SoCal, though. You know, that's what's nice about it. What's up, JC? Good to see you, my friend. What is up? And who else do we got? Who else? Of course, some hellos to you from number one Marvel fan, from Comic Art Boston, from Jason Ladwig, and from the Rickster, Rick Welch. Hope to see some of your amazing Swamp Thing art tonight.
Me too.
And I'm almost positive, Rick, that you might see some Swamp Thing art tonight. Hi, Dave. Hal, open the pod bay doors. Nice. Hello, new friend Dave from Tom McDonald. Like, everybody's friendly here. That's what I like about the show. They're all. It's a good crew, you know. And let me see who else. And speaking of, you see, John's Comics with Kids says, "I love how connected the community is." It is, you know. I like that. Another Cali boy. What's up, Ian Saint? What's happening? Good to see you. And who else we got here? Oh, Peter saying hello to everybody. Okay, some back and forth hellos. Marcus saying, I would imagine it was 3.5 hours of Ruben and 30 minutes of Dave. You know what? Okay, I gotta say, there were times when I noticed, yeah. I spoke and he was like intently listening, but yeah, you're right. I don't know if it was 3 to 30.
No.
But I definitely spoke my fair share. I'll admit. Dave can admit to that. That's cool, you know. But I'm a good judge of character, as well as like my bullshit meter is really good. So I can tell if somebody's just bullshitting me and pretending they're interested, but like they just want to leave. Trust me, Dave was enjoying himself thoroughly, I want to say. Right?
I was. It was really good. Actually, I enjoyed that night.
What's up? Hey, been a minute. What is up? What else we got? Hi, hellos to everybody. More hellos. Marcus EXP will be on soon. Greetings, Jeff. What's up in Vegas? Hot, hellaciously hot Vegas. I should probably say. And Lee Parmenter, what's up, my friend? What's up? And Jason, a day off, Cab. Yeah, exactly. Well, for a while, hopefully. Hello, Lyle Hobson. What's up? Bonjour, monsieur. What is happening? He's traveling. Hopefully he sticks around for a while. We should talk about the Hulk 272 cover. Why would we talk about my Hulk 272 cover, Tom? That's a really odd... It's a really odd comment, I have to say. Why would you say that? Let me know. Who else? Who else is here? DJ, what's up? Still waiting for the Canadian candy shit, man. Nice. Ruben to come in and stay in or get out. Yeah, nice. Love that, DJ. What's up, CJ? And who else? We got the hellos back and forth. More hellos. Pad Bear. Look at this guy. Oh, my gosh. Always love having Pad Bear here. This gentleman, by the way, Dave, Pad Bear is in the UK.
Oh.
So, yeah. So it's already past 1 a.m. for him. And he's tuning in. So that's awesome. Thank you, my friend. There was and not the first time that he does that, by the way. And there was an episode a while back where he was here and the episode went really long. And I think it was like 4 a.m. for him.
Wow.
Yeah. He was still here. I was like, what? Wow.
It's wild.
So that's dedication, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's really cool. Very appreciative, of course, Pat Bear. Sipping Tennessee honey whiskey. Nice. It's always good to have a drink. You know, why not? So the Canadians ripped off Labor Day too. We are thieves. What can I tell you? What's up, Kavi? What is up? What is up? Good to see you, man. And hope the leg's coming along every week. More therapy. So I hope you can report that you're back in therapy for these last week or two? Probably the last week, I think. So yeah, I hope that's back on track. Wine coolers not as good as Cabernet Sauvignon. You should have bought yourself some Cabernet Sauvignon, Peter. What can I tell you? And oh, look at that, Dave thanking everybody, of course. I'm sure Canada isn't observing Labrador Day. I can assure you, Marcus, we do not observe Labrador Day. What's up? Actually, 3 3/4 hours of Ruben and 1/4 hour of Dave. So he's really putting it on like exaggerated. Wow. I know you're kidding. You're funny. No, Marcus, try Labrador tea. What's up, Jello, the funny man himself? John C. What's up, fellow Canadian? You got to stick up for me. You're the only Canadian other than Vivian here, John. What's up? Hi, Cobby. Hey, Peter. The Rickster. No, that bullshit meter needs cleaned after each chat. What's up? Why are you laughing, #1 Marvel fan? Tom. I don't know. Were you just making a silly comment? I want to know if you had a reason for saying we should talk about my Hulk 272 cover. But since you're laughing, I'm assuming you're just fooling around and didn't really mean anything by it. So we got hello to Kavi. Hello, Kavi. Yo to John. Hey, Kavi. How's it going, CJ? What's up? Hey, there we go. Tom Kazalowski. Chicago Power in the house again. We got 2 Toms. Both from Chicago in the house at the same time. Love it. Very awesome. An episode, I know, right, CJ? Right? My episodes are always so short. And my private conversations too. Like, what's happening? I know what you mean. Wait until the Bit and the Rucci episode next week, everybody. Next week, we'll talk about that later. That will see the Monday morning sunrise. It may just do that, TJ. Every day is Labrador Day. Going to be only Marvel talk tonight. I doubt that. Dave isn't a Marvel guy. Right on. Okay, so before we get into it with Dave, I do now that I've given a few minutes for more viewers to slowly roll into the room, I do want to put out there that, of course, as always, everybody should check out the Original Art Experience. It is a sales claim show, original art sales claim show on the EXP. So let me also pop up that URL. So right there, very simple, right here on YouTube, youtube.com/theexp. So that's Nicky B's channel. Nick is the publisher of Dynamite Entertainment. So the Dynamite comics that you see and buy, that's the gentleman who publishes them right there. And he has an original art claim show at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific every Friday. So you should check that out at the EXP this Friday and every Friday. And I can also let you guys know right away, and I'll do this at the end of the episode, but I might as well let you guys know now as well that Nicky B is going to be my guest 1 week from tonight. And that is because I've been wanting to have Nicky B on the show officially for a long time. And in fact, I want to eventually do a show and tell with Nick. And so I'm sure we will eventually. Hopefully he'll do that with me. But next week, I didn't want to let this year. I feel like every year as I get older, the time just passes faster and faster. And I didn't want this year, 2024, to pass without getting Nick on, so we could chat about the fact that this is 2024 is the 20th anniversary of Dynamite Entertainment. So check this out, everybody. Next week's Comic Art Hangout is episode 30, and it is with the esteemed Nick Barucci, and we will be discussing 20 years of Dynamite Entertainment. So there you go. We will talk about everything related to how Nick happened to fall into becoming a publisher, because yes, that is not an exaggeration. He did kind of fall into it. He didn't set out to publish comics. And so he'll tell us all about that stuff, as well as any questions you guys have in the chat. Be happy to throw them out, and we'll get Nick to answer them. And yeah, we'll talk about all the stories regarding, whether you want to talk about licensing, getting artists and creators and whatnot, for the company, and whatever you guys want to ask and talk about, we'll do. So it should be a lot of fun. So tune in next week. And like I said, I'll remind you guys at the end of this show tonight about that, to not forget to tune into that next week. Okay, so comments coming in fast and furious. And yes, of course, because Nick's not here right now, and he's usually the resident reminder of the hit the thumbs up. So I want to say, everybody, please, right here somewhere where I'm pointing, there's a thumbs up icon. If you're watching this right now, there's 36 of you watching. It would be nice if each and every one of you could just hit the thumbs up. It just kind of helps. Doesn't really help much, to be honest, but I guess it looks good, whatever. It just shows there's interaction, right? I like the interaction with you guys, and it just shows that there's interaction, and hopefully you get enough interaction that YouTube's algorithm, I guess I should say, eventually puts the show in front of a few people who may be interested and who are not aware of the show yet, or the channel in that regard. So that's it. Please hit the thumbs up if you can. I'd really appreciate it. We're up to 37 viewers. How many likes do we got? Anybody? Because I got this show open on another tab, but unfortunately in my browser, Firefox, the thumb ups, they never get automatically refreshed or whatever. So I never really know how many there are. But whatever. So yeah, there's, like I said, 37 people watching at the moment. So if you guys can all hit the thumbs up, really appreciate you for doing that. Thank you very much. Who else do we got in the house? We got a few late strayers that are coming into the chat. And who else is it? Let me see. So Kavi almost caught up in 50 minutes. You're impressed. I know, but it's because I didn't have to spend time doing promos tonight. Yeah, the steak eater himself. That's it. Rolling. What's up, Dan? Good to see you. Of course, as always, man. The quote Wolby fan, the booch. To quote Wolby fan, the booch. He calls him booch. I don't like that. Baruch is good. I don't like booch. But to each their own. Hello, Maki Poo Poo. What is up, Michael? Good to see you. Hit the thumbs up. Exactly. Thank you very much, Kavi. Hello. Can you avoid Brave and Bold art talk with Nick? we will definitely try, because we will try to keep the conversation focused on the 20 years of Dynamite, because that's what the whole point of the show is about. And 20 years of Dynamite can be covered in a 20-hour show. Don't worry, it won't go 20 hours. It might go 8, but not 20, promise you. I definitely can't make the show next week. Well, you wouldn't be able to last 8 minutes, let alone 8 hours, Comic Guard Boston. So, you're probably better off not showing up next week. Open a Snapple, put on your favorite red tracksuit and puff up your hair for next show next Sunday. Yeah. What's up, Dwayne, the Oklahoma kid? What is up? I hit it hard. I hit it 3 times just to help. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hello to everybody here from Lee. Sup, Lee? Hi, Lee. Hey, Lee. Did he say he uses Firefox? Yeah, what's wrong with Firefox? Been using it for like 20 years. That's like my main one. But I also use the other. I use another couple, but only for certain things, Good day, all the way from Australia, live in Australia on a Monday. Hey, David, is it by any chance Labor Day in Australia today as well, or are you working? You're probably working right now if it's not Labor Day, I'm assuming. And thank you for letting me know, Comic Guard Boston, that it's up to 30. But we're up to 44 live viewers, everybody. Everybody keeps jumping in. Everybody's rolling into the chat. I love it. Thank you so much, all. Really appreciate you. But that means 43 viewers. We're still really short. If there's 13 of you who have not hit the like button, if you don't mind, please, it's right here. It's the one that looks like this, like a thumbs up. Please hit that. I really appreciate that. There's only 13 of you remaining who haven't done so. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. And hi to you, Kenneth Bird. Good to see you. Hello, Lee again. Hello, Kavi. Ruben had to upgrade from Earthlink to Firefox. What's wrong with you guys? What's wrong with Firefox? I admit, though, it's starting to have certain issues. But I love it because it was the only browser that always remembered all my logins. So 20 years ago, that was important, And there was the only one that did it. And that's why I stuck with it. And that's why I've remained with it. And also, you can still bookmark. I have hundreds of sites bookmarked. I like bookmarking. The other ones, they don't let you bookmark. It's like if you want to bookmark something, I have to drag the website onto the top, whatever you call it, at the top here. And you're going to see a bunch of buttons. I don't like that. I need to have things that I can click. A one button bookmark button that drops down menu, and it gives me a whole bunch of sub menus, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I love that. So, hello from Dave. Canadian internet requires large quantities of people turning a wheel, says the Canadian. What's up? Hello from Oz. What's up? We were able to ask Nick about rumored late 70s video with him, Vegas, and the Ace Steak Buffet. You can ask him whatever you want, TJ. Like I said, it's all fair game next week. Nick B will be accompanied by the acclaimed actor Harrison Ford for the 20th interview. Right. I would never let that guy on my show. Harrison Ford. Ugh. Just in time for the boomer browser rant. Why do you guys? Come on. Really? None of you use Firefox? What's wrong with Firefox?
I think
whatever. What's that, Dave?
I think my dad uses Firefox. So you're not alone.
I don't get it. What's wrong with it? Tell me what's wrong with it.
I don't know. I use Chrome.
Well, that's my second one. I use Chrome, just to kind of, log in, mainly to log into banking and then more serious and important things, whatever. But anyways, let us start this show. 50 minutes, Ruben will be throwing up the blind and shaking his fist at a cloud. No, I put it down today because I didn't want to see the ugly rain that was depressing me, Oh, you can eat. Is there any way to update volumes? Yeah. So I upped it on my end here, and to be honest, I don't know. Kavi, do you know if when I up Dave's volume here, do you know for a fact whether that's just me hearing it louder or whether it affects you guys hearing it louder as well? Because I have him on maximum. But if you see anything on your end, Dave, for audio, do you see the audio button?
Yeah, I tried upping mine again on the settings page that we were messing with earlier. I wonder if that was any better or not. Or maybe I'm just speaking too low.
Maybe you're just speaking too low. Because right now I heard you pretty good. Did you just hear him a little bit better, Jason? Yeah. See, he just said that's better. So it might just be you needing to like powerize your voice, you know?
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. John can tell me. So it doesn't necessarily change it for you guys. Okay. Might need to move the mic closer. Yeah, unfortunately, his mic is his webcam that's on the laptop. So it's got a forced distance that he can get sort of closer unless he forces his face into it, you know? He would need to increase his mic input if it's too low. Mic input, whatever that means.
I'll try to speak a little louder too, because it could be just that. Also.
Yeah, it might just be that. Although Tom is still saying that it's still low for him. Mark is saying put the mic closer, but I already answered that. Yeah, Kavi can hear you okay, but you're on your phone. What's up, Stanley? Hey, I should frame panel pages like David. Well, we all frame what we want to frame, So a little better, says Tom. Okay, but you will be doing 90% of the talking, so you'll be okay. There you go. Exactly. But it is show and tell, Tom. So we do kind of need, Dave to talk about his own artwork, So hopefully he'll speak loudly and confidently when it's time to speak about the artwork. So sound setting. Oh, in the Windows audio settings has a mic input.
I'm on the Mac. Let me see if I got it.
Oh, you're on the Mac though, yeah.
Yeah, let me see though. I could possibly check it while you're still going through this stuff.
Okay. For anybody who is interested, I have Robert McGinnis, a McGinnis girl, a classic McGinnis girl with me tonight for tonight's show. For anybody who's interested in that sort of thing, yes. Tasteful, nudity, I love it. Very artsy. There we go. Okay. And it says, Dave has a really nice collection of pages. Love the B.P.R.D. All right. Don't skip ahead. Don't skip ahead. We'll talk and look now together, All right. Okay, so Dave, let's just go with this. And I think if you just try to, like I said, try to speak as loudly as you can, I think we'll be okay, the way we always start the show, as you probably saw a couple of the shows and episodes, and typically I have the guests who do show and tells give us all a little bit of a background on how you got into comics, when, what age, you like to know the timeline, got into comics, and ultimately how that led you to discovering artwork and collecting artwork. And you have a little bit of a different story because you were one of the very few people in the hobby and who I've had on my show. Not my first, but you were one of few collectors who, even with comic books, you did not grow up as a child reading comic books. You were not exposed to them, right? So from there, why don't you give everybody your story and let us know what your background is all about.
Well, I got into comics pretty late. I would say I think I was like in college or so, back in around like the mid 2000s. I've always been like a toy collector, really, more than anything. Figures and stuff from like movies. I was a really big movie guy. Like I just loved movies, and I never really read books before either. Like back when I was in high school and stuff. So I just watched a lot of movies. So a lot of the things I like to collect were mostly like toys and stuff. And how I got into comics was that one day I was looking for a particular. I think it was a Joker figure. It was one of those Hot Toys figures from from the Dark Knight. It was the Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker. And
Ledgers, yeah.
and I called a bunch of shops, and I was just looking around, just any toy. I was looking at toy shops, and of course, like comic shops popped up as well. And the one of the stores actually had it in, which was pretty local to me in downtown Long Beach, a place called Pulp Fiction. And so I went and I picked up the toy, but obviously I had, I was getting a little curious of a lot of the stuff there, knowing that the Dark Knight movies were kind of like inspired by certain storylines too. Sometimes, like I think Long Halloween was actually the first book that I heard like that had some like influence to it, although not like super strong influence, but they did take that like rooftop scene from it. And but anyways, like I was just kind of curious, and so I started like looking through some stuff and ended up just buying a couple issues of some stuff that are on the racks, and I think some trade paperbacks, and that's how I got into comic books. Yeah. And but to get into the art.
By the way, you mentioned this all happened during college.
Yeah, I would say this was around 2009 actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. Like something because I only read like comic books for a few years before I actually got into the art. And the way I got into the art was one day I was just kind of like cruising through that same store actually, and one of the workers there, I believe he's the guy who owns Cheap Graphic Novels now. It was Max. But anyways, he was like, "Hey, come here! Like, I want to show you something." And I was like, "Okay." And he pulled out this, I believe it was an X-Men and the Wolverine page by Chris Machado, and he's just like, check this out. And I was like, "You could buy that stuff?" Like I was like, "That's so cool." So I got hooked. I was like, "Wait, so if you can get this kind of stuff, then I can." I was really into Hellboy at the time, and I was like, "Well, I'm still into Hellboy," but at that time it was like my favorite book. I was like, so
hardcore, right? Hardcore.
Yeah, I just read anything that I could get my hands on, and I was like, "Can I get Mike Mignola's stuff?" Like I was just like, I was like, wow, so many like pages now that are like books that I want to get things from, just knowing from that one page, like you're able to like acquire something like that, which I had no clue before. So that's how that all started.
Yeah, I find it supremely interesting that you got into comics only sort of, I guess you could say, technically through the movies. Your interest in film, right, is kind of, it started there more and then led to comics. When you were a child, say between the ages of, I don't know, let's say 5 to 16, for example, you had no exposure at all to comics, like not even through like you didn't even have like a friend at school who may have sort of you knew was a comic guy or anything like that.
Yeah, so, at this time, like when I was like in elementary school and stuff, the big thing was Pokemon.
Pokemon, wow.
So like I was sadly I do not collect any props though, but yeah, like Pokemon and cards like that stuff were I still actually collect it on the side too. But the things that I was like into like growing up, like movie wise and stuff, like I never really liked comic books. Nothing ever popped up per se. Like actually I do kind of remember this random, I think it was Blade. Like I picked it up and I didn't really care for it. I don't know how I got it. It was like something, I don't know how I even got a hold of this damn thing. But but other than that, never really dug into comic books until like the college years, I would say. Even in high school, I don't think I ever really
that's crazy. That's it's wild. Yeah, it's the thing, because for most of us, we all grew up, most of us grew up with them as kids, some of us as early as we can remember, not me, Others, only at like me, I was 12, So for me, it's funny because, it's when you compare it to somebody like yourself, it's so funny to compare the stories with other readers and collectors, because I've always considered myself a bit of a late bloomer at 12 years old, only because I've known many people who started at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, So for me, I always felt like, wow, I got into it like, a lot later than a lot of the people. But then, I meet occasionally from time to time people like yourself who, they were 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, whatever. And it's like, wow, you basically were an adult when you discovered it, So it's such a different sort of way to sort of get into it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so you can say that you started, you said, I think you mentioned around 2009 was what you said, right? When you started getting into comics, reading comics, around there.
So yeah, like this. I know I didn't jump in right after watching any of the like movies, like the whole superhero movie craze thing. Like I know, like when I started getting interested, it was like a couple years after that, I would say. So because I've known these movies for a long time, just never thought of looking at the source material. So yeah.
Okay, and so then we move forward, and now you're probably, I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, still in college, maybe later in college, when you decide I'm going to go to a convention for the first time. Is that how it happened?
Okay, so it's kind of weird. Like I went to Comic-Con way back in, I want to say that was like, oh man, I don't even remember what year that was. It was a very early. It was like
you think maybe oh,
yeah, it was way back. Like
so you went. You're saying you've been to Comic-Con years before you really got into comics, reading comic books?
I was in there mostly for like movies and stuff.
For the movies. Wow. So you're one of those guys that all of us comic and art guys hate. We complain. We don't hate, but we complain. We complain that like those conventions are so full of people because everybody's there for movies,
Movies and kind of, yeah. It was other media, not really comic books per se. So
yeah.
Never really started. But
that's wild. To think that you were there, and you just went there for what you went there for, and completely ignored comics because it just wasn't even on your radar yet at the time.
It was also toys, though. I love
toys. Oh yeah.
Exclusives. Like when I was small, the biggest things that I was really into was like Transformers and G.I. Joe. So I'm not an 80s kid or anything. I'm born in 1990, so I just caught a lot of the reruns. I love all those older Transformer movies, like the 80s one, one that ruined everyone's childhood, I guess.
Yeah.
But I loved it though. I loved it as a kid, and I went mostly for the toys and stuff. Yeah. Sure, I guess. And John C says the cosplay girls too, I guess.
Yeah. but tell us though, when you were getting toys, none of the toys you were interested in had anything to do with comics, right?
No, I don't think so. I mean, they could have, but I wouldn't know. Like, I was just like, oh, that's a cool exclusive, like you can only get that at Comic-Con. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna line up for the cool dictator at the podium, Cobra Commander. The 3 and what is it, 7, quarter, 3, what is 3/4, 3/4, whatever size, those little ones. I love those. So yeah.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Those from 1887. That's awesome.
Yeah, some of us are older, as yeah. By the way, let everybody know, because that's another thing, is that not only are you you have a different story from us in terms of, you're one of the few people in our hobby who didn't grow up reading comics as a child, but you're also, so you came to it late, but you're also in the comic art hobby. Well, also one of the you're skewing way younger than the average. You want to tell everybody your age? You mind?
Oh, I don't mind. I'm not too young, but I'm 34 right now. So,
Well,
yeah, but
I
it
can
is.
tell you,
Oh,
I can tell you that the bulk of the art collectors fall in the, I want to say 43 to 57 age range, the bulk, and then of course you still have much older and much younger, but much fewer of those in those age categories, So yeah, yeah. So it's 34 is quite young in our hobby, So very interesting. And so I'm sorry if you already mentioned it, but can you just again I want to get the timeline straight. Let's say it was roughly around '09 that you got into the comics for the first time. Did you say, was it that same year that when you went into the comic shop and the owner said to you, "Hey, Dave, have you ever seen this? Check this out, the Bachalo piece of art"?
that was about maybe that season. I can mark exactly what year I started collecting art. That was in 2012.
2012. Okay, that was the very year you began collecting it then.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
That was the year.
Yeah. So there was like a 3-year gap between getting into comics and starting to buy your first piece of artwork. And probably only months between the store owner showing you an original piece of art and you buying your first piece.
Yeah, I think it was just a couple of months after. Because I remember the first site he showed was like Splash Page. That. What's his name? But yeah, I immediately was looking for something from. I think Guardians of the Galaxy actually was something I wanted. I was reading like heavily at that time too, and because I did look around for Neolist of it. I couldn't really find anything easily without like having to just message him straight up, So and everything I did saw was kind of expensive, so I kind of held off on that. But I went straight for my price range, and I found stuff from Guardians that I really liked, and actually I still have that piece to this day. I don't think I'll ever sell it ever.
So why don't you share that with us? Tell us what was the very, very first piece of art that you picked up, and where did you pick it up? How did you get it?
So I got it from I remember his name, Mark Hay from Splash Page. So I bought it's not actually Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's from the Annihilation Conquest storyline, but they had like a Star-Lord series in there, and it's kind of like how the modern day Guardians of the Galaxy kind of came to be in a way. Like they weren't called the Guardians yet or anything, but it kind of like the main like groups like like Star-Lord and
the characters were kind of together in the story, but they hadn't made the official move to like, hey, let's form a team or whatever, right?
Yeah, they did form like some like suicide team, but they weren't like the Guardians yet. They're kind of a proto Guardians, I'd say. But
but that's in modern contemporary artwork. I mean, that's pretty key. For the modern Guardians of the Galaxy fans, you would think like that issue to have art from the issue where, yes, they're not officially a team yet, but it's the beginnings of it, right? The characters are starting to get together, right? And then they ultimately soon thereafter do form a team, right? So yeah.
But yeah, that was my first page, and so
that was your first page. And can we ask how much? Do you remember how much it cost exactly?
I think it was $350. Something.
Ooh, that's not like a cheap amount for like your very first page getting into the hobby for the first time. Like $350. That's a big. I would think that's a big spend for like your very first page.
It was actually. I didn't feel like I felt like I believe I received it as a gift from my mom actually. I didn't like totally buy it all on my own. I just showed like all this I showed like interest. I was like, oh, I really like this. Cool, It's like, come on. And they just kind of handed me a check one day, and I was like, oh, I have enough now. So this was way before I even graduated. So
right,
it was a lot of money to me for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Comic Art Boston wants you to know that for someone who only began collecting original art in 2012, you have an excellent collection. The content is very impressive indeed.
Oh, thank you so much, Comic Art Boston. Really appreciate that. And thanks everyone. I've been kind of like seeing a little bit of like trying to catch up with the chat, but I've been having a hard time. It's going by pretty quick, but yeah.
No worries. If there's something super important that they're saying to you, especially directed to you, I will pop it up on the screen. Just look at the screen and in the bottom left-hand screen. And, you know, like when I do this, right, you see it pop up on the screen right beneath you, right? You are seeing the comment beneath you, right? Yeah. So just kind of keep an eye out for that, you know. Good evening, Carl from Carl's Collection. What's up? Good to see you. And we got hellos. You got CJ also says you have a fantastic gallery, Dave.
Thank you so much, CJ. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
And let me see. All of my Guardians of the Galaxy knowledge I absorbed from Ian. Well, Ian sure is the man.
Yeah,
Ian's a man.
He has awesome Guardians. I've seen his
right? Yeah, I was thinking Ian would be jealous of that piece you were talking about, your very first piece. I think he would like to own that one.
I don't know. He has some ones that are just as good, if not better, like action ones. Like he has a great.
Oh yeah, he's got some good stuff. Yeah, for sure. But still, as a guy who focuses on Guardians, I think your piece. I think it's a piece that he would like for sure. So. But let's see. I really like Dave's Zatanna Morrow page. You guys are. I'm happy you guys took the time to look and check out his gallery. That's awesome. But I would always hope that you would check it out after the fact, so we can first let's see stuff on the show and tell tonight, and then later you can go to the gallery and check it all out. And Peter left your comment on it. Good, yeah, please. Since you guys, those of you who are looking at his gallery and have looked at it, at least take the time, leave him a few comments if you like anything. What's up, Jason Richardson? You missed 48 minutes of the show so far. That's what you've missed. Also a fan of the Golden Age Sandman, says Peter. I am too. Love Golden Age Sandman.
I love his design. He's like one of my most favorite looking characters. He just looks so. It's so cool.
He's such a cool looking character. Yeah, exactly. Dave, CJ, and I are very old hands in the hobby. Very old. Yeah, I can attest to that. They're like geezers. They're what I call geezers, and I'm what I just call old, but they're geezers. Because I'm in my 50s, but they're like in the next decade after that. So, I can call them what I want. Plus, it's my show. So while we're on the show, I say what I want. They know that, though. It's okay. They love me anyways.
I think everyone could leave my comments. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Nah, Peter. It's okay. I mean, I'm kidding. This is spoiling Ruben's picks, but you see, exactly, Marcus. That's what I'm saying. You're kind of spoiling a little bit of the picks, which we will jump into in a minute. Yes, Peter, that was a very impressive page, says Cab. Ruben, the bossy guy. Thank you. Couldn't do it without you, though. Tom. Lee, what is Dave's cap handle, says John. So what do you go by on cap? Yes, tell everyone, Dave.
It's just Dave.
I think it's David Kwock. Yeah, or maybe you have it as Dave. I don't remember, but it's definitely under his last name. So look, if you look under the K's, you'll find it under his last name. So yeah. And non-specific, non-spoiler compliment about your cool original art collection, Dave.
Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate it.
Contests? What does that mean? I'm confused.
Oh, I think you meant congrats.
Oh, congrats. Oh, I see. So yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. No, he's just telling you have a great collection. Yeah. And you see, Cab. By the way, Comic Art Boston. That's who I referred to. We all refer to him as Cab, just because it's a mouthful to have to say Comic Art Boston all the time. So we truncate it to the CAB. You're very welcome, of course. I already left a comment for Dave. Also, awesome. So you're getting comments. That's nice. There you go. Oh, look at that. Everybody popping in. But don't I have it? Oh, don't tell me I screwed it up. Didn't I already put his Is the link? Isn't that link already there?
It's,
Pretty sure I put Dave's link. I remember doing it. Hey, listen, I remember doing it. So if it's not down below in the description, that means oh, it is in the description too. Thank you, Coffee. Thank you. Okay. Man, you scared me. I was like, oh man, that means StreamYard's doing something wrong to me now. It's not my fault. I'm not forgetting. But okay, good. The link is there. Thank you. Dave's Gallery. Yeah. Okay. Maki Poo, you came in late. He's in SoCal. And just adding it for anyone lazy. And you know we have a lot of those people in here tonight, right, Kavi? So, yeah. So I appreciate that. Thank you. But okay. Dave, before we get to the first piece, did you, I know, people saw, obviously people have looked at the kick-ass awesome thumbnail I did for today's show. They see you and me hanging out together, side by side. That was awesome. What an awesome day that was when we hung out together, Do you and believe me, no pressure, do you want to tell everybody anything about your situation being in the wheelchair at all, or do you want to just skip that and go?
I mean, just briefly, I was injured back when I was 16, so I've been like this a while, and it's just part of life, So I'm on a mechanical wheelchair. I have a neck injury, so yeah. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. So sorry if I have to dip out for a second or something due to medical stuff. So I will be back as soon as.
Yeah. Just an FYI for all of you. If he does, he may have to dip out for a bit. But if so, I will do all the talking, which you guys love so much anyway. So it'll all work out just fine. Yeah, I know, Stanley. I know. We noticed we've had issues with the volume on Dave's end. So we've tried everything we can, but yeah, sorry. Try to get closer to your speaker so that you can hopefully hear him a little bit better.
I'll also try to speak as loud as I can. Sorry, I guess that is actually kind of part of my injury too. My lungs kind of were affected due to the high injury being in the neck. So I sometimes have a hard time, speaking loudly or trying to, say things clearly. So I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. Peter, by the way, wants to know: are you a Star Wars or Star Trek person, Dave?
I watch a little of both. I like Star Wars, and my dad and me like watching Star Trek from time to time. I believe we used to watch Voyager a lot. We like Voyager, and of course, the New Generation and stuff like that, all that, P.R.D and all that. It's fun, and Star Wars, I like most of the movies, except I don't really like the newer Disney stuff. Maybe except for Mandalorian, I suppose, but yeah, I like most of it.
Sorry, I was just giving a middle finger to Sean because he's like he's telling me I talk too much, right? So I get to do these little things to these guys when they yank my chain a little bit, But Comic Boston says, Dave, you're doing fine. So there you go.
Oh, thank you.
And he Maki Poo, otherwise known as Michael, is asking, what are the pieces that are framed in the background behind you there?
This is an EC page by Graham Ingalls. This is a Walking Dead by Charlie Adlard. And I think this is my Swamp Thing from Alan Moore. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, or the Alan Moore Swamp Thing by Bissette and Totleben. I actually think Harrison Ford's a I mean, I like the Indiana Jones movies and stuff. Yeah, my mom
do you love Han Solo and his acting as Han Solo?
I mean, he's cool. I don't know if he's my favorite character. He's alright. It's cool, but
he kind of sucks. I know, but you could say it. It's okay.
Yeah. Oh, do you not like Harrison Ford? I know that.
Look at that. This I like. Kirk can kick Solo's ass. Thank you, John. There we go. I appreciate that. There you go. TJ is saying that he can hear you fairly well, so that's interesting. Yeah, I guess for some of us, it's harder than others. I'm sorry, guys, for those of you who are having a bit of trouble. I'm waiting for an Ultimate Star Trek Wars crossover. Can you imagine? That would be interesting if they would do that with the movies. Wow. I'd be more into that. Yeah, for sure. Karate chop and drop kick. What? Okay, Blade Runner rules. Derek, what's up, Derek? Coming in with that crappy comment. How dare you? I should tell you all. I want to tell you all though. I checked like my streaming services that I have because I did actually check. I was going. We talked last week about watching the original version of Blade Runner, right? The theatrical release, which is, I guess, that's what Jeff should have shown me, right? When I was at his house 2 weeks ago. I feel like I really should have watched the original, the one with the voiceover you guys keep talking about. So I checked the streaming services, but yeah, they don't have it. It's so weird. They had one version only, and it's the final cut or whatever. So I was gonna give it a chance, a fair shot. So you can't say I don't try. I was gonna give it a fair shot and watch it again, the original version, but they don't have it. So what can I tell you? Maybe one day, some other day. Ruben has a crystal skull on his desk. Right. Kirk is greater than Han and Spock and Chewie beat all. What? Greater than Han and Spock and Chewie beat all. There you go. Okay, I'll take that. Faz Milhoff, is that a friend of yours? I don't know any Faz Milhoff. He's never been here before. Who are you? He's saying that your audio is off. The audio is not off. It may be a little bit low on Dave's side, but it's definitely not off. He's saying he can't hear. It's okay. He says here, fixed it. Thank you. Faz, tell us who you are. Tell us how you. Yeah, I know you're new. I'm new, guys. Cheers. Cheers to you. And the fact that you say cheers, is it that you're in the UK by any chance? How did you find my channel? What brought you here? I guess I'm asking. Let us know, Fez. And thank you, by the way. Thank you for not only tuning in, but also for not being shy and coming into the chat and saying hello and talking, man. Appreciate that. From NYC. Okay, cool. Popped up on my feed. Cool. Okay. So at least I know the algorithm does show my stuff to at least 2 or 3 people per month, so that's good. Checking it out. That's cool. Seems like good vibes. I can promise you the vibes are always cool, laid back, chill. Everybody, we all get to know each other pretty quickly here. Everybody's nice. So hopefully you'll enjoy it enough and come back in the future. Yeah, man. But if you're an art collector, if you're a comic art guy, we do a lot of different things here on this channel related to comic art. And so hopefully you'll like it enough to give it a little bit more of a shot tonight and come back again. And if you end up coming back later, don't hit subscribe. But if you end up coming back in the future and you like it and you think you'll be back again, then consider subscribing. But otherwise, no need to. But if you don't mind giving me a thumbs up, that would be cool. I'd appreciate that. And you, my friend, are very welcome. And thank you again for dropping in and chatting with us, man. I appreciate that. Always great to see new people. So I highly recommend everyone click the notification bell on the screen, which will remind you when Ruben goes live. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. Thank you. I never kind of remember to do that, so thank you. But okay. So yeah, let's hold on. Sorry, I just wanted to see Faz are cool. What do you mean Faz are cool? Faz is cool, did you mean? Don't know, Rickster. But yeah, CJ knows. I'm all about the vibes. Good vibes for all. But yeah, man. So everybody, thank you very much for tuning in and letting us chat and shoot the breeze as we always do, and letting us get to know about Dave a little bit more. So you guys know him a little bit more. That's great. Thank you, Dave, for expounding on your past and your history with comics and art. That's really cool of you. Oh, thank you, Rick. I'm not a Doctor Who viewer. I've never watched about Doctor Who, so I wouldn't have caught that, obviously. A Doctor Who reference. There we go. But so yeah, Dave, man, you ready to get into the show and tell?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Seeing what you
All right. All right. So this is it, folks. This is where you guys finally get to hear me shut up a little bit, at least, and get to look at some kick-ass artwork and hear hopefully a little bit more from Dave than from me. And yeah, man, let's have some fun with this. I'll cue this all up. And let me see what we're going to start with tonight and this evening. Yes, I know what we're going to talk about. And given that I did this on purpose, Dave, the reason that I started with this one, I felt it appropriate. Well, I'm not even going to say why. It's as soon as it appears, it should become quite obvious why I picked this one as the first one to show tonight. All right. Yes, Cab, let's see some art. We're going to see some art right now. All right, so here it is, everybody. The first piece in tonight's show and tell. Check this one out, and yeah, let us know whatever comes to mind. Tell us a little bit about this one that you haven't already. Check it out.
Hey, okay. Yeah, so again, this was the piece I was talking about earlier. This is my first piece of art that I've actually owned. I don't think it was the first I've actually posted on my calf, though. I don't know why is that, but I know this was the first piece that I've actually bought. Yeah, I mean, at the time I was reading anything Guardians. I think this was even before Guardians was even announced as a movie, so I didn't even know there was a movie coming. I absolutely love the whole DNA run, with like Brad Walker, I think, drew some of those issues and stuff like the whole that run that led up to like the Thanos imperative. I love that whole story from this all the way up to that. Like, was some of my favorite like cosmic Marvel like anything. And when I saw this page, I was like, okay, yeah, I gotta get this one. It has pretty much there. And as long as it had Groot and Rocket, I was like, oh, I'm done. Like, I'm sold. That is mine.
Yeah. And so this is the page. This is the page you talked about with us earlier, and that ultimately you said your mom gifted to you.
Yes, yeah, my mom did give this to me. Yeah. I was a poor college student. I couldn't really afford them.
The poor college student. Everybody, a lot of us, everybody's pretty, familiar with that trope of the poor college student for sure. So, a lot of nice comments here. And the first one I just wanted to tell you, and just so you understand what it means, is when I do claim shows, art claim shows, people have to type in the word buy and the number that's showing on the screen. And so Marcus is saying buy 01 because he obviously likes it and would like to own it himself. So there's a compliment for you. And Jeff says snazzy. And then Tom, nice team page. And Comic Art Boston says, darn, Marcus beat me to it. He wanted to claim it as well. That's funny. Angus is proud. I don't get that one. But then again, John C. is famous for comments that don't make sense to most people. Yo, says Carl Choi. What's up, Carl? John C. comes back with another comment saying fire. So, okay, that one we understand for sure. So pretty cool. Groot looks pretty metal. And seriously, though, that is an extremely nice page. Great design as well. Oh, I agree. I absolutely agree. Timothy, Tom, Tim.
Oh, you say because you think there's like a misspelling. Yeah.
Kudos to your mom from Comic Art Boston. There you go. And Rick says, "Where's a cannon emoji when you need one?" John, this is crazy. You guys are nuts. There's no cannon emojis. Relax. Stop looking at too many emojis. Dan says, "Fierce. It's a fine page," says CJ. And for some crazy reason, Sean wants you to know that he likes ice cream.
Me too.
So do I. All right, Sean, there you go. That's what are you gonna do? And Carl likes turtles. Okay. Yeah. There we go. That's a cool piece. And I just wanted to say also, I really like Timothy Green's style. I don't know if he still draws in the exact same style. I haven't seen stuff recently from him, but
it's changed a little bit. Yeah, it's changed. Yeah, like not too much, but I
Okay.
definitely like the older style a little bit more.
Okay.
This style feels more Mobius-like to me, I guess. Like, like I think, yeah, he's like a very like Mobius kind of thing going on. But yeah, with the good lines and but yeah,
Yeah.
it's changed a little.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, artists and their styles tend to evolve with time, right? So yeah, it makes sense for sure. Ice cream with root beer. Well, so far not for me, but so this Dave, just so you know, this goes back to multiple episodes back. I revealed that I had never tried a root beer float, and everybody was like shitting on me for that because they couldn't believe it. I don't know. I said it must be like more of an American thing. It's a very American thing going back to like the 30s or 40s. Have you tried a root beer float?
Yeah, like a long time ago. Like I don't drink it often.
Okay.
But when I have, I mean, I like it. Vanilla and root beer is like my favorite soda. So.
Oh, really? Wow.
I love root beer.
Wow.
So.
Okay. I used to love root beer, but I avoid soda in general now. But that, yeah, when I was younger, I used to love that. Yeah, for sure. Okay. These guys are all, by the way, just so you know, there's a lot because a lot of the people here have been coming in for a long time, tuning in regularly. So of course everybody gets to know each other. So a lot of the stuff you see are inside jokes from long ago episodes, things like that. So a lot of us are really into music, like CJ, me, Marcus, Rick. And so a lot of the times the comments that we make either here or on other people's shows are like music related comments inside, lyrics or whatever, And so that's what a lot of these guys are doing, music related stuff right now.
John C's comments. I didn't actually know that about where that.
Which one did I pass it? Oh, this one?
Yeah, I didn't. I've not. I don't listen to too much AC/DC, but just a few songs in there. But it's actually to know that's where it's from. So.
Yeah. Well, with AC/DC, it was for those about to rock. We salute you.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing, But very, very cool. It's let's see, it's a Labor Day tradition, says Marcus. Hey, all the way from Singapore. Thank God it's Monday. Actually, Mark, I forgot. We were talking privately, Mark and I forgot the first. What was the other one? Thank God. What was the first M? Damn. Remind me again. I can't believe it's been a day or two and I've already forgotten. Sorry, Mark. Okay, you can talk about root beer yourselves. The root beer floats are my wife's go-to. Groot loves root beer. Groot loves root beer. Wow, okay. Yes, we're getting around. Ruben mentioned reading comments that had nothing to do with what was going on. So I threw out like an ice cream you like ice cream for a laugh. Yeah. He's getting the hang of it already, Sean. Don't worry. He knows. He already knows I've told him when we had that 4-hour chat privately, I told him that we will go off the rails on different tangents and all sorts of stuff. So awesome. Great. Fantastic news. Comigar Boston letting us know. 46 watching, 45 likes. So everybody hit the like. Thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate you very, very much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's awesome. And the follow-up album to Back in Black, still talking music. John C. explained himself, and Ruben is big into K-pop these days. I am not. He's fooling around. He always tries to embarrass me and say things that are not true. So that's how you'll get to know Marcus. That's what Marcus is all about. Yeah. Trying to embarrass me with falsehoods. Okay, everybody, let's get to the next piece. For this next piece, I thought we would go from the contemporary era. And hello, Hart, by the way. What's up here? Better late than never. What is up? A good friend, Hart. What is up? Good to see you, my friend. You mean Ruben is all about K-pop? I am not. Sup, Hart? Okay. Hello to us. And yeah, thank you, Hart. Good to see you, man. There we go. Hello. Okay. So I thought I would go from the contemporary era. listen, I hate doing this, but we've got 45 right now. It's a strong number. I'm so sorry, but let me do. Hold on. Nah, it's okay. Actually, that's okay. Maybe after this, let's get to that other piece so we can get moving on the pieces. Yeah. So I thought I would go from contemporary art and go back a little bit, everyone, to one of my all-time favorites in terms of artistic teams and storylines ever. Love it. Tell us about this one, Dave. I know you love it too. Check it out, everybody.
Yep. That's, oh man, this piece, I mean, just something from the Alan Moore run. Like, the Alan Moore Swamp Thing run was like, when I first read it, I know you say you don't like saying like you have favorites or anything like that, but
yeah,
I would strongly say like the Alan Moore run of Swamp Thing is my most favorite run of comics that I've like read. So to have a piece from that run and you know, and also having like this particular storyline. I mean, you know, everyone loves Jack Kirby, but Jack Kirby's creation, the Demon, and Kamara, the Demon monkey guy. Like,
yeah,
you know, they're both Jack Kirby creations. So like having a page from this particular storyline for me was quite big. I like this. I remember reading this for the first time, getting so like I wouldn't say creeped out. I love horror. I don't really get creeped out at it all the time, but I can feel like the goodness of how this like, you know, like how this can like chill someone. You know, like there's like dead creepy baby thing it turns into, and all these other like kind of like weird grotesque imagery it transforms into, and no, I just it was just a page that I like. This is like one of the when I started collecting comics, like I had like 3 like pages in mind that I wanted to get. Like just like I would be like, if I got these 3, I would say that I did my thing in this space, you know, in this hobby.
Mm-hmm.
This was one of them. Like I wanted a Stephen Bissette, Totleben, Alan Moore Swamp page, and you know, with something on it. So,
and you definitely got a great one.
yes,
I mean, not only is it beautiful and a great example with great content, I mean, absolutely stunning high-level content, but it's also from my favorite part, as we spoke privately about, as you know, my favorite part of the run. Like, my favorite is the first half of the Alan Moore run. I wasn't so keen on the second half, but the first 20 issues to me are my favorites. And so, yeah, I mean, this, oh, God, this is just fantastic, man. This, yeah, really, really exciting to see this. When I saw this in your gallery, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe he has this. Oh my God, this guy's amazing.
This is one of my more later acquisitions. So it took me one of the longest time to get one. So, well, I've had other Alan Moore pages, but nothing like it. It was always something like about like Swamp Thing wasn't in it, or like it was from another art team, you know. So this was the one I was like, this is like the non, how do you say this, like compromise page that I wanted. I was like, this, I'm going to go hard whatever I can to get this. So I just did that, you know.
So the fact that you say I'm going to go hard, that means this one was something you had to fight for at auction.
It was an auction, yeah. It was. Had to fight for sure.
Okay, yeah. I mean that this type of stuff at auction, you have no choice. You have to fight for that. Like you got to be strong on that, you know, big time. So yeah, fantastic. Super happy to be able to show that off. Wow, 51. We're up to 51 people, everybody. Wow. Thank you for joining in, all of you. Those of you who have just come in. And if those of you who have just come in, if you don't mind, even though you've only been watching for a few seconds or a minute, if you don't mind, please hitting the thumbs up icon that's just right below here. It really, you know, I don't think it really helps at all, but it just looks good, I guess. Whatever. If you don't mind hitting the thumbs up, I'd appreciate that. Thank you. Very nice to have you all. Thank you. Thank you for dropping in. Speaking of those of you dropping in, if you're still listening, I hope you are. Is this your first time here, Rogue? I'm going to call you Rogue because it's a bit of a mouthful to say Rogue WRRR6 or Rogue WR6. So yeah, Rogue, you would be the second person tonight that has come in for the first time, and that would be awesome. Unless I'm forgetting you've been here before, and if you have, it couldn't have been for many times. So let me know, man, and thank you for dropping by. That's really cool. Who else do we have? A bunch of people talking about things that are not related, side conversations. That's cool. Thank you, Hart, for hitting the thumbs up. Appreciate it. And up to 49 likes. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. You know why I said that, Rogue? Because a part of me was like, it does kind of look familiar from like a long time ago, maybe, you know? So thanks, man. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. That's awesome. Thank you. Thanks. Good to see you again. Appreciate you dropping by. Yeah, likes are free. Colored mats extra. Another inside joke, Dave. Thank you. But yeah, awesome page. Really, really thrilled to show that, Dave. For me, one of the gems of your collection, if you will, in a mighty fine collection. So
appreciate comments too, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, oh no, these guys, they're happy to throw out the compliments. When they like it, they like it. They'll tell you for sure. Bissette wrote a nice intro to a book I just read. Oh, a nice reprint of San Glanzman's Voyage to the Deep. Yeah, he was always a big fan. He is a huge fan of San Glanzman's work. So I'm not surprised that he had done an intro to it. So very cool. All right, let us keep this show going, everybody, and jump to the third piece. And let us see what we have here. Check this out.
Oh, a Venom page. This is actually something from Cap Live. Actually, it's I mean, like everybody. I mean, yeah, everyone likes Venom, right? I mean, he just has a really cool design, you know. And,
his design, yeah,
and, you know, and James Stokoe, I love his like his art. Like he has this like very. And it has a very like manga-ish looking style, you know, and I like that stuff too. So I read manga from time to time as well. And this particular story, I did go back and read. I think this was published during that like Don Cates run, but I don't think it was written by Don Cates. I think it was just James doing a single filler.
Okay.
And no, I found the issue very comical. Actually, it's like this telling of I don't know if I should say in case anyone wants to read it, but yeah, it's quite a comical story in a way, like very action packed, and they just ran bricks. Right? It was like a bunch of bricks, I guess.
Well, yeah. I think it's more. It falls more under the category of rubble than bricks, but there's a few bricks, I guess. Yeah. Seems like a lot more rubble than bricks, though, at this point, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people loving this page. It's really cool. I wanted to show it just because Stokoe's style is so different from the mainstream, you know, and it's just it makes a nice juxtaposition when you have this against a sort of more standard a Venom comic book, you know.
Yeah.
It's very different for what you typically expect to see inside a Venom comic book or any comic book with the Juggernaut, for instance, you know.
Yeah.
And like Hart says, it's like manga speed fist strike. It's got that kind of feeling, right? In that top panel. That's it. That's what I was kind of seeing. I was like, wow, it's kind of very manga-esque. More like in fact, similar. It reminded me of the Hong Kong manga. The style from like Crying Freeman and those comics from like the late 80s, early 90s. But yeah, really, really different. Cab says, artistically, this is a very striking page, no pun intended. Having the Juggernaut is always nice as well. Yeah, it's for sure. Bet Jugs wished he had the Blob's power right about now. Well, he was wishing it, yeah, for sure. That's interesting to see. No text on the original. They added it in the coloring. What do you mean? What do you mean? I mean, it's modern art, Sean. So most modern art does not have any of the text on the original art because it's all digitally done. Let's see.
James Stokoe style. I mean, his other book I really love, the Godzilla Half Century War. I'm a big Godzilla fan. That's where I first discovered his art. And I love that book. I wish I can find pages for that from that particular book, but I can't.
From Godzilla?
Godzilla, like Half Century War, I think it was called. It was published by IDW.
And you're saying is that something that James Stokoe is doing?
Yeah, that's something he did. That's how I first heard of him, actually, through that.
Oh,
book.
okay.
Yeah. And I really wish I could find something from that.
Okay.
If anyone has any out there, hit me up.
Have you look at that, Carl, with the Hong Kong power? You heard me. Carlito, what's up? This looks nothing like Old Master Q. I didn't specifically say it did. Took me a minute before I saw the third panel. Let's look at that third panel real quick again.
Hello.
What do you mean it took you a minute before you saw the third panel? I don't know what you mean by that, Mike.
Maybe like the sensitivity wall.
Oh, okay.
Catches the fist. It's just like one of those eye
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. John says the same thing. He didn't see it right away. Yeah, very cool. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. You guys are so awesome tonight. 52 likes already. Awesome, man. That means you like Dave as well as me. You love me, but you like Dave. That's awesome. I love that. And yeah, so very, very cool and very different, actually. What I wanted to ask you though, Dave, have you not sought him out? Maybe reached out to try to find where you might be able to get his Godzilla art?
I mean, they were selling them. I believe Cadence used to sell or used to represent him. I don't know what happened with that, but that book was like totally sold out. I believe. Like I never got a chance to jump on it, like I never really jumped on it. But I wish I did. Maybe it was like something where I had a budget at the time and I did not. What do you call it? I chose maybe something else over there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. You can't have it all. You know, it's what it is. You know, you're still, you got time. You know, you play your cards right. You exercise patience. If you really, really want to get one, you probably at some point down the road be able to get one, assuming he ever let them all go or whatever. Like, who knows? Maybe James still has them all in his closet or whatever, right? So
sure, I have them.
Yeah, that's the thing. But otherwise, I think, you know, eventually something will come loose and you'll get something, or at least have your opportunity, you know. Sean, just to let you know, no, typically it's the letterer who does the lettering and the sound effects. It's just that I guess it can be confusing sometimes with contemporary art because there are some contemporary artists like DWJ, Daniel Warren Johnson, who will add sound effects. They like to hand draw sound effects incorporated into the artwork. But for the most part, that's all the letterer's job. So there you go. And I'm afraid I must agree with CJ. And remember, we have old and wise heads on our shoulders. I agree. Patience is key. It is. Okay, you talk to Sean and we'll keep moving. All right. Let's go on to the fourth piece, everyone. And for that, we have this.
Oh, my Jock page. This is actually one of my earlier pages too that I bought.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, this was a backup that was featured in the New 52 run with Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder.
Right.
So yeah, at the time I didn't know where to get the Greg Capullo art. So, and I was a big fan of Jock though because I really loved the Black Mirror, that like run that like it was like one of the last detective comic runs before they switched into that New 52 thing. And I just love that story. All the covers were, I believe, like one of the more like famous covers, like with the Joker's face with the bats in his eyes or whatnot. It was like from that run, and so I was always a fan of Jock. And when these pages came on, I instantly bought. Like just having the Joker on there was pretty much what sold it for me. And I loved the Capullo Batman run, and the backups were just as entertaining to me. So I was happy to buy to get this
Yeah.
page. I wanted it.
Yeah, and off the top of your head, Dave, do you by any chance still remember what the Joker says? I remember reading it, and it's so funny. It's so funny, but I can't remember right now. But he said something in the first panel, and then he said he shoots the horse, and he says something else about somebody because he had killed somebody.
Yeah, I think it's something like oh gosh, it's like like the horse is ruined or something. It's something really like dark. It's like dark comedy, I guess, or something. I think he's like the horse is ruined, and something's like, oh, but what about the guard? And then he was like, oh, the guy's ruined too, and he like shoots him in the head.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great page, especially if you are a Joker fan. And by the way, what I don't. So I only read the first couple of trades worth of the Capullo run with Snyder. So I don't know, why is it that I've seen these images of the Joker in this time frame where it looks like his face is wrapped in bandages. Is that what's going on?
No, so what he did is he skinned his own face and then he used it as a mask.
Oh, right. I heard about that. Okay. Yeah. Skinned his own face. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And like made him like super serial killery. I know I'm a big horror fan, so like anytime like horror is injected into like other genres, I'm just like a sucker for that stuff,
Yeah, for sure. As you know, I love the horror genre too, so I'm with you there for sure, man. All right, excellent. So a very cool modern day Batman centric page. Well, Batman page, Joker centric. Let us move on to the next piece, everyone. I got a couple of slides for you because it is a double page spread. Also from the contemporary era. Really dig this though. Check it out.
Oh, from the Justice League Dark. This is a pretty recent storyline too. And so this was actually I ended up reading this book because I actually jumped back into comics like very briefly just to kind of like see what was going on, and I was hearing that like this Justice League Dark run was pretty good, so I read it and I think this is from a pretty early issue in the run, and once I kind of like read through it, I was like, oh, all my favorite characters are here, and I was like, wow. I saw the art for it, I was like, oh, it popped up, and I was just like, oh, I'm definitely getting that, because I really enjoyed the run as a whole. I read the whole thing, and that's like one of the most recent like runs of comics that I've read in today's day. I guess I don't really read much comics anymore these days, so it was it was a very good run though. So had a lot of creepy factors, and I did a lot of callbacks to like the Alan Moore run too, and actually they even like portray like one of my favorite scenes, like that scene where they're all having like a seance and then people are like dying one by one in the like near the end of the like issue 15, the Alan Moore run. They kind of like call back to it in this book and stuff, and it just brought a lot of good memories and stuff. I was like, like it hit me in that kind of in the feels with that whole like, oh, this is what I like, and it continued that throughout most of the book. And it was just I just love this image of Zatanna and Wonder Woman there, especially.
And I love how he also does that stringy haired Swamp Thing. I love. There's something weird about that.
Oh yeah, it's like it's like a like red lock
in the middle panel,
Yeah.
And I'm curious because I've never read this book. I was told when it was first coming out, I was told that it was really excellent. Like, did you read it from the early on?
For this run, I didn't read the earlier first run. I believe it. I think this was another thing that popped up in the New 52, the older one. This is like a this is like a volume 2, like a newer run that came out. So it had a different writer and stuff like that. And I believe was it James Tynion, I think, wrote this particular run, I believe. And
that's right. This is the James Tynion one. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's the thing, right? Yeah, yeah, and it's pretty good all the way through. It's kind of surprised actually that it was, you know, as good as it was. I
Really?
would stop reading comic books like because I was just not liking much things at the time. I don't know. I mean, I was just reading the wrong books, but this one totally brought me back in for a while. I was like, wow, I remember why I like reading comics. So yeah,
Yeah. It's always nice when that you read something and it makes you feel that way, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I like.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Sorry.
No, sorry. Go. Continue, please.
Oh, I was gonna say like I don't know when it comes to like a lot of these like pieces I pick, like it's always like kind of story first for me per se. Like I feel like a lot of the pages I do end up buying or looking for, like it's because I enjoyed the story. Like sometimes like there's some things that just look beautiful, but I didn't really feel for the story, so it has to like kind of click story wise for me to like buy it. You know what I mean? Like, kind of picky. Like
Wait. Did you just say the story has to click for you in order for you to buy the art?
yeah, like it has to have, like I had to really enjoy the read. Like even if it just
Oh,
I wouldn't just
interesting. So you would not buy a killer piece of art that catches your eye if you haven't read it yet?
actually, you know what? It's yeah, because actually I would see something like I actually kind of do this with like a lot of Felix's drops. Like sometimes I'm not familiar with the book, and I just know like oh like a DWJ drop is coming. I've never read that particular book or something, and I would like kind of like skim the book somewhere. I would sometimes buy it digitally just to kind of see if I would like it. And if I didn't really care for it much, I wouldn't really buy it. Like sometimes I can tell like it's a great story, but maybe it's just not my like my
Yeah.
not my cup of tea or something.
Yeah. I mean, look, John's agreeing with you very much. So he says he buys art for books that I'm connected with, and that usually requires a story that means something. So yeah, I mean, believe me, I'm not, I'm not, I'm not saying that like I'm shocked in any way, because of course I know people feel that way. It's just, it's interesting. I like hearing when people say that, or whether they do or they don't, because there are many collectors like myself who are the opposite, who they have no problem buying a nice piece of art if it catches their eye, if they like the characters and they like just the look of the artwork, never having read the comic. In fact, I'll go as far as to say there are plenty of collectors in this hobby, plenty, who actually will buy modern, contemporary artwork, and who never read the books that they buy art from. They just like the look of the art, and they don't read it. So yeah, it's interesting,
I mean, I'm not against it either. It just there hasn't been a piece that has popped up like that yet for me. Like where I'm like, oh, like that, and but like I have to at least read it, like to be like, okay, I'm gonna. And that's just me. That's just me, of course.
No, for sure. And listen, Tom Kaczalowski says, I'm with you. All of the art I own is from stories I really enjoyed. Kavi, of course, is right, saying that there's no right or wrong method. Of course not. You buy what you want when you want, for whatever reason you want, obviously, right? Tom said he liked this book but stopped reading after a while. That happens, right? John says, well said. It shocks me, but I know it's very true. Yeah. But I do both. I like, and this the thing is that like I have no problem buying a beautiful piece of art that just catches my eye, even if I haven't read the comic, and I'll buy it, no problem, because I like it, right? In fact, just this week and the prior week, I bought some stuff from recent Superman comics just because I liked how it looked, right? And I haven't read it yet. I'll read it eventually, but I haven't read it yet, But I will say that although I have no problem doing that, when I do own a piece of art from a story that I really enjoyed, it just makes me appreciate the art even more.
True.
So it's like an extra boost, if you will. So yeah, I got no problem. I don't need to have read the story. But when it comes from a story that I've really enjoyed, yeah, it feels that a little bit of it's a little bit more extra special, if you will, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and also to add on, I mean, so maybe the reason why I do that though is kind of like to hone in my budget, so I don't
Listen, we all know about budget. That always has to come into play. We all get that. Believe me. John wants to know: do you own the issue? In other words, do you buy the comic or for every piece of art that you own?
I do try to at least have the. Well, I don't buy as much comics as I do like collected editions. I like to buy hardcovers. I have like a shelf that's right next to me that just has a bunch of omnibuses and absolutes and stuff like that. And I try to have like the nicest hardcover or whatever of the art that I do, if it's available. And if it's not, then yeah, I at least try to get like a comic of it or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But let me ask you. Okay, so you're not opposed. Just to be clear here, you have to have, and well, yeah. Actually, you clear something up for us. Is it that you have to have liked the story to own the art, or just as long as you read it? In other words, if you had read it and didn't particularly care that much for the story, but you love the art anyways, would you buy it, or do you have to have liked the story?
You know what? Now that I think about it, I guess I don't exactly have to love it, but I do gotta like it to some extent. Like
okay.
There's a lot of times where like I've read a book and it just didn't have substance, and it kind of killed it for me. Sometimes I'm like, oh, this book looks nice, but I didn't really enjoy the story, so I have no it's almost like I have no interest in buying it anymore, because I don't.
Yeah.
I would rather put my money into my resources that I know that I love that piece, so that I know I can stare at that thing forever. Yeah, I guess it is. But no, I mean, but though if I see something that's just, I mean, like commission piece, like something that looks just amazing, there's no story to it, right? I actually do have a piece like that in my collection where, I have sentimental attachment to it, and it's not from a comic book, it's not published, but I love this thing, so deeply because of what's attached to it, the meaning to it. So I guess it does have to have some sort of meaning, I guess. Or,
okay.
Not too strong. I mean, sometimes it could just be like, I had a good day that day, when I bought it. So I don't know.
Yeah. Like I said, you don't even have to yeah, whatever reason it works for you, it's a good enough reason. That's it, right? So you're right. You're right. What's that?
Oh, it's I guess the golden rule, just buy what you love, right?
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely, for sure. We preach that here on this channel all the time. So Marcus, that's correct. I do wait for the trade paperbacks to read. That's right, my friend. Look at this. What is this, Marcus? What is this? And look at this. What is this? Look at that beautiful woman hiding inside my Transformers. This is known as a bookmark, my friend. Not going to say anything yet. Just started today. No comment. What you talking about, Ruben? What do you mean, what you talking about? What you talking about? Seriously? Hey, look at that. You see, Marcus? Go give Peter some shit. He's also a TPB reader. And nothing wrong with appreciating a root beer float from afar without drinking it. That's what I've done my whole life, Kavi. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. It's interesting to look at. I don't know. It's never really appealed to me to want to go out and, oh, yeah, I got to try that. In fact, like I said, it looks better than I think it would taste. It seems like it would be gross. But anyways, I don't want to get caught up in that. A lot of times for me, the art comes first, and then I track down the comics. Yeah, I'm with you, Lee. I'm much more often that way. But that's Lee, I'm sure, and I'm sure you'll agree, Lee. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. But that's because when we're looking at contemporary art that goes on sale, you don't want to risk potentially losing the piece that caught your eye, which can happen very easily if you say, well, that's really great looking, but I think I'll wait until I track down the copy of the comic and read it before I make my decision to buy that piece of art or whatever, right? Like, you know that if you like it enough, it's probably not going to be there. So that's the thing. So yeah, I think we're on the same page. We like it, we buy it, and then okay, let me track down the comic now. So there you go. I own very few physical copies of the books for any of the art I own. So you don't need them. In my case, I can tell you guys, I'm happy getting a scan. I just want to get a scan of the as long as I have a scan of the comic book, the color page, I'm happy with that. But that's for interiors. For covers, it's kind of nice to sometimes have the actual comic book. It just depends. On your books, I see if trades are cheaper than buying the comics. Many cases, if the same cost, I'd rather have the comics to read. Okay, yeah. I mean, a lot of people do that. There's all sorts of ways. There's no right or wrong way, right? And there we go to Peter. Okay, yeah. Having a great story greatly influences me to buy a piece. Yeah. Me too. And unfortunately, I often come to storylines very late. Right. And I'll read something that came out years ago and I'll be like, oh my God, it's so good. And then I'll immediately jump online, start looking for artwork and realize, oh God, it's already years old. Like there's nothing available anymore. I missed the boat on that one, so
That's
yeah. But, agree. Okay. So thanks. Okay. Or love what you buy. No idea, Peter. Okay. You're talking to yourself. Book might think they're only in Firefox. Don't get the end times. The end times may be near, Marcus. That's so funny. I don't know why you said that. That's really not fair. That's not fair. That's an unfair comment. Why wouldn't I read it? I have nothing against the guy. But okay, let us go on to the next piece, everybody. And let me see. So from the double page spread, we go to this one. Check this one out. Oh. Another Guardians of the Galaxy, but this time by the amazing Brad Walker and Victor Olazaba.
Yeah, this was another piece I bought a while ago too. I mean, again, just like the other piece, I just love that whole run from the original Annihilation all the way up to like Thanos Imperative, like that modern cosmic run that they had. I just love that whole just that whole story. Yeah, I thought it was great. So naturally, I had to have a page from it, and I really love the scene where they're just all kind of like drinking solemnly at the bar, and I find Groot's drinking through his fingers with the roots.
I love that. That's my favorite part of it all. It's the fact that he's a tree, so he has to dip his roots into the glass with the little Mai Tai umbrella thingy. Right, and just absorb the drink through his roots. I mean, that's awesome. I love that, man.
Yeah,
that is so cool. Biggest drink umbrella panel. Yeah, exactly. Another great Groot panel, says Tom. Groot hair. Yeah, I love that too. I love how he looked back in this day. I thought it was so cool when he had the uniform, because it's ridiculous when you think about it, right? Because why would a tree need a uniform, right? But I don't know. There's something about it. It's just a kind of a cool look.
I really like their uniform this run too. I just thought it was pretty.
Oh, good one by Mark. Look at that. A Groot beer float.
Nice.
Nice. I love that, Mark. Touche, baby. Touche. Wow.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
It is a great story.
Tom says that it was a perfect story.
It was. Wow. It was awesome. It ended great too.
Yeah, well, John says that he's always struggled to find a good jumping on point for Guardians. What would you say? I mean, I don't know that you've read all of them, or I don't know how many you've read, Dave. But from what I remember, back around the 2007 era, everybody was raving about the whole Annihilation storyline, right?
Yeah. I would say that's I mean, if you just want Guardians themselves, I wouldn't know where to start really, but I guess it would actually be in the second Annihilations of Conquest where they like kind of start forming that team, like from where that first page came from. Would be a good start. I guess you could jump around, but I mean, the story as a whole is just great. I think you would enjoy it, just like starting from Annihilation, going all the way through. Which I guess you can like read them through omnibuses and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, they have them. Yeah.
That way. But yeah, like yeah, I'd say just the omnibuses are probably the best way to go. But like, there's an Annihilation omnibus. There's a they have like this War of Kings thing where like kind of it's part of like kind of that whole cosmic storyline going there, like that in the middle. And then yeah. Oh, unfortunately, I stopped reading after like that, yeah, like when the Bendis run was like starting. That's kind of where I cut off. But I heard it was great, so I'm just not. I've not read it myself personally.
Yeah, Cosmo might mistake him for a regular tree. Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. Shots, everybody. Oh my god. You're going nuts, John. But very cool. Yeah, no, it's a fun page. I love it. I love that whole, that whole sitting at the bar, like you said, thing is cool. All solemnly drinking together with Groot, with the root finger. That's awesome. Just for that alone, it's awesome. So, all righty. Let us move on to the next piece then, everybody. And for that, we're going out on a limb here. That's a little tree joke for those of you who didn't catch that. And we're going to show something actually that is not anything that I'm familiar with, I believe, until I saw it in your collection, Dave. So I'm looking forward to you maybe telling us all a little bit about this. Check it out, everyone.
Beasts of Burden. Okay, yeah. So again, this is you like cute animals solving paranormal, like mysteries and stuff like that. This is the book for you. I mean, it's pretty much a it's not cutesy either. Like it's pretty gruesome in some parts actually. It's very. It feels like kind of like something that would relate to the Hellboy universe. If you like read Hellboy stuff, it would kind of be similar. But yeah, this is actually from this is not from the main book, this cover, but it is drawn by Jill Thompson, who draws the interior for the main storyline or the main book, which is pretty awesome. It's not very long either. I'd say it's pretty short for the most part, and it's easy to read. It's quite fun. Fun. I would say fun. Yeah.
Yeah. What genre would you classify this under if you had to?
Probably horror.
Yeah. Really? Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah. It's very interesting. It's kind of like if like the dogs were like the paranormal investigators basically. And like some things would go bump in the night, and they kind of like keep the public from like their owners and whatnot from like kind of realizing what's going on. They kind of like stop it. They're like a society actually too, like that. It's kind of like,
you mean all the dogs? You mean all the animals?
Yeah.
Okay.
They I mean they talk in the book. I mean they don't talk like to humans, and I guess they're like barking whatever at each other. But it's quite interesting. It's kind of hard to describe other than that. It's like it's just a bunch of dogs solving paranormal like mysteries and situations and stuff, like people being murdered and disappearing through whatever, and yeah, it's quite interesting.
Cab points out that this is an example of artwork that I might be interested to purchase even if I didn't know anything about the book. You see?
Oh, awesome! Yeah, I mean, Jill's style is quite awesome. My parents, when I bought this too, they're like, "Wow, we can hang this in the living room. This looks really cool." Like they just thought it would look like one of those, like random paintings you see at like a thrift shop or something, like just hanging there, like like just kind of like this random scene of something. And it actually kind of works well with the living room. And I was like, oh, okay, you can hang it there if you want.
Who let the dog solve? I don't think it would be Orwellian. Peter, but I don't. I mean, like Dave said, it's kind of like along the horror vein, Dogecoin was a big meme cryptocurrency that year. You're right. It was. It's funny. I wonder if that's why they came up with the idea. That's
all these dogs are Shiba Inus too. So that's like the Dogecoin dog was the Shiba Inu, I think.
That's funny. And by the way, Sonny, I know you mentioned you would like to get the Evan Dorkin pages from the story, the interiors. Reach out. I mean, I'm not sure about Evan Dorkin, what he does in terms of selling his art, or how does he sell it at all. I don't know anything about how he handles that. So
yeah,
I'm gonna have to look for him, hunt him down online somewhere, and find out. I guess Yeah, it's the only way to do it. Looks like Banicula. It says Sonny. Same dog type. Yeah. And I may or may not have accidentally run over a fox on a drive to work today. May or may not. Nice. I love the fact that you don't know because you kept driving. He has a website for stuff. Oh, I see. And you're looking it up. Okay, there you go, Sonny. Let us know. But in the meantime, let us continue with the show and tell. And from there, we go to the next piece, the 8th piece. And that one is this.
Ooh, Captain America. I love it.
Yeah, from a classic run. My favorite all-time run of Captain America.
Me too. I mean, well, I've only read really. I'm not as well. I love Marvel and stuff too. I love them all equally. I'm not one of those like one or the other. But yeah, I think this Captain America one's the only like one that I truly like dug deep into, and
yeah,
I just love the whole like spy feel of it. It's just such a great run. Like I remember like wanting a page from this early on when I first started collecting, and I just thought, I was like, oh, kind of expensive. So I bought this way after, maybe actually. So I took a long hiatus from collecting art too. Like I think there's like a gap between like 2016, 17 to like almost like 20, like till the 2020s, like during the COVID thing where like I didn't buy art much. I probably like bought like one piece a year or less.
Okay.
And this was actually the first piece I bought coming back into it like heavily. So
okay. Yeah. And out of curiosity, did you have to fight for this one at auction too?
No, this one was from, I don't know, I believe I got it from a dealer or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And ironic, says CJ, that he is currently drawing. He likes to draw and he paints as well. And says he's doing a Cap Labor Day drawing right now as we he says my show inspires him to draw, so he always draws while he listens and watches.
Oh, nice. I'd love to see that. That sounds awesome.
Let's see. This should be picked for a Cap update of the week. Yeah, but it's not new. It's been in his Cap for he didn't post it this week. But
I think actually at one point I think they did use it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It was in one of their updates.
I know that they showed a couple of your pieces for sure have been picked in the past for sure. We know that, right?
Just like maybe one or two, I believe.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. Update 98 then. All right. Well, very, very cool. I really dig that. Great run. Always fun to see stuff from it. From there, we're going to go to a comic property, the intellectual property that I never got into. Characters never appealed to me visually, even though I was a fan of the creator and artist. So I just thought I'd put that out there because I know so many people love it, but I've never given it a chance, to be fair, and that's why I have no opinion. I'm talking about story-wise, guys, story-wise, but I always love to look at the artwork, regardless of whether it's the creator or somebody else doing it. Check out this piece. It's fabulous. I love this, and I love this artist too. Check it out.
Oh yeah, Duncan Fegredo. He's I absolutely love the Hellboy universe, and I mean it was like a Mike Mignola. Like when I first saw his art in the comics, I think that's like the first time I really started kind of like taking note of artist names and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
trying to remember like who like I like, but the thing is when I started reading Hellboy though, I believe Mike wasn't on art duties anymore. It was like the day like Darkness Calls came out and it was Duncan. And I just loved how his art was so like it reminded me of Mignola's, but it like had a little more detail in it. And it looked, I don't know, like sometimes it looks just as good, if not better in some cases, like in storytelling. And this page, like when I was reading the Hellboy universe, there's a lot of like kind of side books there. And B.P.R.D is kind of like the other like main storyline within the Hellboy universe. And I mean, there was a point actually where I was enjoying B.P.R.D more than the main Hellboy line books. It's kind of like I almost kind of sometimes like it's really not a 1-to-1 comparison, but I kind of compare it to like Alien 1 versus Alien 2, Aliens 2, or Aliens.
Yeah.
And where like the first movie was kind of like this quiet, like, horror.
Quite like boring, kind of like boring, I would say. Yeah, the first one was boring, and the second one was awesome. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, you can argue, I guess, but like the B.P.R. just had way more action in it, and I totally like, in this particular issue, it was kind of a big issue, and I remember it like when I was reading it, like when it came out. It was one of those few books I was still like reading. Tell you the truth, I probably bought this one digitally at the time because I wasn't actually buying physical books anymore, I think.
Right.
But I totally remember this. So when I saw it come up for sale, I don't think I was there when it actually went live, but once I found it, I immediately I'd be like, I just gunned for it. I was just like, oh, is this still there? I want it. I just love this piece because it has almost every like main character from the storyline on it. So I was just thrilled to get it.
Yeah, and again, out of curiosity, was this another one you had to fight for?
No. I wouldn't know because I believe it's from a dealer, so or a rep. I was from a rep. So I just messaged him and said, "Yep, I can." Though there was like a little bit of a custom scare with it though for a while, but other than that, it was not really.
Is that one that came from England or Canada or?
It came from England. I think it was Brian Melchior.
Joe Melchior.
Joseph Melchior. Sorry. Yeah, just,
okay.
Yeah.
Does he represent Duncan? Or
did he just have he does now, I believe. Duncan at one time I think was selling through Splash Page art with Mark Hay, but
that's what I thought. Okay.
I believe a lot of his like Hellboy stuff was sold through Splash Page. Okay. But a lot of more stuff now he's selling is through Brits. Yeah, Brit Comic Art. Yeah, Comic Art. Yeah. Joseph. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Yes, that's correct. That's correct. Yes, that's correct. Brit Comics art. That's right. Hellboy chilling in the background taking a drag. That's right. He's there, but he's clandestinely hiding in the background there,
Yeah, it was a great vibe. I mean, despite the custom scene is not any of his fault. He was great with the whole shipping. And it was awesome. It was like a good experience other than dealing with FedEx. But other than that, like just the service was great.
But it turned out okay though in the end, right?
Perfectly, yeah. That was great. I thank Joseph for just like keeping up with me with it too. He was there the whole time too. So
right.
It was awesome.
Okay. Very well. Excellent. Beautiful piece. From that piece, we're going to go a little bit back into the past, and we're going to check out a page that one of the fans of your collection that couldn't wait and started dropping names earlier on in this episode already mentioned really quickly. And that's the next one up for showing and telling. So check this one out.
Oh, yeah. So, this is like a page that I didn't even think like I knew I wanted at the time. So this is okay. This is one of those situations where I did see a page and I actually liked it, but I didn't buy it right away. I actually went home, risking it being sold, and
Yeah.
like going back and reading it because
Oh.
yeah. So I was like, okay, like again, I was still following my whole like, oh, like, I need to, you know, I need to see if I actually like this book. But I mean, I love the character. Like I love Z. Like she's my favorite like like a female hero in all of like DC. Just being associated with the whole supernatural end of the DCU, right? So like I saw it instantly. I was like, wow, this is a great piece. And I was like, but I'm not gonna pull that trigger just because I don't want to. Like I don't know. Maybe it's from like this weird. I mean, it's pretty Morrow though. He's always great. So I actually went home though and went and read the books. Like I think I went to some sort of. I couldn't really find it anywhere, so I think I found it online somewhere real quick. I just wanted to be sure, like, am I gonna like this? And I found out they were backup stories in like adventure comics and
Yeah.
yeah. So this is one page that now that I remember, this is one page where I do not actually, I think, own any form of print of it because I can't really find it. But I am trying to track down an Adventure Comics 415 to like, have it in my collection as well. But yeah, no, I remember seeing this thing and I just could not stop thinking about it. So I was like, okay, I gotta read this thing. Gotta see if I like it. Like story wise. I read it, I loved it, and I was like, okay, this is fun. Like, and the art, like throughout the whole book, was just awesome. Like Gray Morrow just, I don't know, like he's something. And like
Oh, I love Gray. Yeah, I love Gray Morrow. I mean, you should check out some of the work that he did in like Marvel and Warren magazines, black and white magazines of the 1970s.
Oh
So
yeah, I love Warren stuff. I never actually like kind of came across his. I've read like stuff from Bernie and Richard Corbin and stuff, but yeah, I never like went down to like just track down Gray's stories and Warren. I love the Warren stuff. Yeah, and I would love to like look at some of his stuff now, knowing that he has a lot of some work in there.
yeah,
But,
and not to mention Man Thing. He I don't know, very little I think he did, but
he did.
he did some gorgeous Man Things stories. Around that same time, early 70s. Beautiful, beautiful. Like wow, yeah. So yeah, really nice stuff. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, very, very happy to see that. And probably the oldest piece in your collection, would you say, other than the EC one?
Yeah, probably one of the.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, early Bronze Age. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, very, very cool. Okay, everyone, just before we get into the next piece, I wanted to quickly show you, because it's so rare. It's so rare for me to get ahead of myself with, scheduling episodes and shows and whatever. This is one of those rare occasions where I ended up getting like 6 shows set up in a row. So I just want to show everybody real quick what we have upcoming. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I'll just rifle through them real quickly. So next week, as I mentioned, we have Comic Art Hangout, episode 30 with Nikki B discussing 20 years of Dynamite. The week after, 2 weeks from now, we have another Comic Art Show and Tell. That it's number 55, our auction attractions. It's the 3rd time we do this type of show where myself and the 2 gentlemen you see there on the screen with me will have picked art from auction. The Heritage Auction, in fact, that is finishing that weekend on the September 15th that we're airing that episode. And we're doing it a little different this time. We didn't want it to go for too long, that episode. So it's going to be basically, all right, Dave, no worries, my friend. We're going to do it where those 2 gentlemen pick 10 pieces a piece, and I only pick 1. Try to get the showstopper in. And that's it. So after that, we have this. So, Comic Art Show and Sell, not tell. This is Comic Art Show and Sell. Go for it, Dave.
Oh.
So this is going to be number 14, episode 14, and this is going to be September 22nd. And as you can see there, right to the left of Hart's head, it says paring down the collection. And as you all know, we've talked about it on previous episodes in the past. As Hart had mentioned that it was in the process of wanting to get out of collecting. He wanted to sort of not only stop collecting, but narrow it down to 25, if you remember. 25 and 25, right? 25 published pieces and 25 commissions, right? And shockingly, to my shock, and I admit I didn't expect it to happen so quickly, but check it out. So we're going to be selling, this is stuff we're going to be selling because, of course, he hasn't pared down. He's pared down his choices, but now he has to go through the process of selling off what he doesn't want to keep anymore. So amazingly, he has achieved. And so give him a hand, everybody, because honestly, he deserves it. Getting his collection down from hundreds to 25 published pieces and 25 commissioned, that's quite a feat. So, give him a hand for that. That's really awesome. Congrats, Hart. I'm managing to do that. That's incredible. And so, so that show on the 22nd of September, 3 weeks from now, will be to, again, like we did a couple of months back, try to help Hart find new homes for the pieces that no longer fit his collection, his 25 and 25. The week after that, don't laugh, or I guess you can laugh. This was Matt's idea. This is the pic. I asked him for a picture, and that's the picture he sent me. So I felt like obligated. I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, okay, I got to match you. And so I had to go dig out my old 25-year-old or 28-year-old leather jacket. Nice. And do that. So that's why we're wearing leather jackets, simply because that's the picture he gave me, and I had to try to match him. So it's a show and tell with Matt Kennedy. And as you guys all know, Matt's been on the show on many different episodes of different series that I do many times. And but shockingly, he has never actually done a show and tell. And I didn't even realize it, much like Kavi. Like Kavi told me a few weeks ago, he's like, or a few months ago, actually, he's like, we never did a show and tell together. And I was like, what? Really? Yeah. So Matt and Kavi both will eventually do show and tells. Nice. And speaking of show and tells with people who have been on my channel many times, but never did a show and tell, there's a third person, shockingly, which again, who I didn't realize we hadn't done one. And so here we go on October 6th, Hart is going to come back again, not only to do a show and tell, but the whole purpose of it is because now that he's narrowed down the collection to the final 25 and 25, this show and tell will be for us to show everybody his final 25 that he has decided to keep. So that'll be fun just for that reason alone. And then he has agreed to become the first collector to ever do 2 show and tells that are comic book art related on my channel. You guys know the Neon Dragon recently came on to do a show and tell for the second time, but that's only because it was comic book art the first time, science fiction art the second time. So Hart will be the first guy to do comic book art related stuff 2 times. And we'll do that, but we haven't scheduled that yet. But so there you go. Those are the next 5 weeks worth of stuff that we're going to do. And I'm looking forward to doing all those. So there you go. I wanted to quickly rewind before I show the next piece, because I noticed that people put up a bunch of stuff. Beautiful piece of art that's already, that's the Zatanna. No more hints cam. Oh, no, not that guy. Okay, a lot of this stuff is not going to make sense right now. White van liquidation sale. Another inside joke. Basically, Dave, if you don't understand it, it's an inside joke. Just go with it. finally going to see the dildo collection? What? What are you talking about? Oh my God. How many pieces is he selling? Oh, I haven't decided how many we'll have on the show, Sean, yet. I'm guessing, don't hold me to this, but I'm guessing that episode will probably be 30 or 40, something like that, 30, 35, something like that. Haven't decided yet. A van down by the river, exactly. Hart deserves a handy. Oh, look at you, CJ. Hey. Oh dear, I think that I cannot make it that day, Hart. You do what we do what one must, right? Comic Art Boston, whatever you can. You can always check it out on Rewind, and if there's anything of interest, you get in touch with me or with Hart, and that's it, you know. Ruben the Dive Bomber, I admire your fortitude, Hart. Pony Boy, where are you? Looks like hoodlums. Thanks, Peter. I haven't done the show and tell either. That's number 4, baby. It's true, Jeff. You see, that's the thing. This is why I keep missing you guys, because on those rare occasions where you started off doing something like a roundtable episode, in my mind, because most people do start off doing show and tells, I just automatically end up thinking that, yeah, you've been on my show, and of course we've done a show and tell, because that's what most people do. But that's what we'll have to do, Jeff. I'll reach out again to you, and we'll have to do one of those together as well. Thank you for reminding me. Oh my gosh. Crazy, dude. Crazy. Streets of Fire, Ruben. That better not be Streets of Fire. Nah, whatever. What's his name? Harrison Ford. It's enough, man. You can't like overwhelm me with that stuff. Well done. It could not have been easy to pare down your collection so drastically. Yeah, exactly. Flip, flip, flip. He's calling you a flipper now. We need to see Jeff's Trek collection. Does he even have a piece of Trek art? Ruben the Dolphin, thumbs up. Yeah, please also give me a thumbs up if you're still here, everybody. If you've just come in late and haven't done so already, click the thumbs up, which is right around here, the thumbs up icon. I'd appreciate that. Thank you. Hart knows how to promote. Does he? Dave is way ahead of many of us on this score. Many can ahead of us on what score, Cab? I don't know. Did you understand that comment, Dave? Why are you getting so organized? Yeah, Dave is way ahead of us on this score. I don't know what you mean by that. Let us know while we go on to the next, please. All right, everybody. Thank you for that, allowing me that. And Willem Dafoe, Streets of Fire. Okay, then I'll check that out. I'll check that out. Okay, let me jump back into Michael Paré. That he's okay. Yeah, so I got him good. Yes, exactly. You can start off with the show and tell. Exactly, Cab. And then that's it. And then in the future, I can have, if Dave wants to come back to do like as a member of an episode of Roundtable with a few other guests at the same time, he's welcome to, obviously. Or a hangout where we just shoot the shit, hanging out. Exactly. All right, everybody. So let me get back into that. And so the next piece in tonight's show and tell with Dave Kwock is this one.
Oh, Bernie Wrightson piece.
Yeah, baby. Come on now. Swamp Thing, number 6, 1973, Bernie Wrightson page.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, being a big fan of Swamp Thing, man, I gotta love the original run, right? Because
yeah,
I mean, Bernie for me is he's actually my favorite like artist, like pretty much. Like he is my like top thing. Man, I had a really great meeting with him back in, I guess it was 2012 also, like where I went to a Comic-Con that was local here and he was there. And I mean, I always, after meeting him that day, I always vowed like one day I'm going to get a published piece from his Swamp Thing run somehow. And it's been something I've always wanted. And, like in this page, I mean, I saw it at one of the Chara's shows actually, and I was just perusing around, and I recognized, like I was flipping pretty quick, and I just recognized like, oh, that's Abby, right? And then like I was like, and I was like, wait, this is a Swamp Thing page, and I was like looking around, I was like, oh, Swamp Thing on it, and I was like, nah, he's not on. And then like somehow I like take a like I look over there in that little corner and it's like, hey, wait, he kind of is there. so, so I'm like, you know what? I was like, hey, but if you think about it, like I was like, oh, not only is Swampy there, I mean Abby's there, and so is Matt Cable, and so is Alec Holland and Linda in the little picture in the bottom there. I was like, hey, all of them were here. It's like, so I was just like, you know what? Like, and now that that was just like a fun thing. I just keep like telling myself out of like just to get a little giggle out of it. But I mean, like for me though, like I mean, I love that like top panel, like the angle of it, like the perspective of it. And I found it kind of strange. Like I was like, oh, I've never seen a Bernie Wrightson piece with like zip-a-tone, and I was like, it's kind of like unique. I don't see him use that much. I don't think, but I just like I was like, okay, I got it. I gotta somehow get this page in my collection. And this is the first time I actually ever traded art for this. So I was like,
oh, you did you acquired this by trade, did you?
Yeah, trading cash and stuff like that. So
okay,
yeah, I was that was the first time I ever done a trade. So I was like, because I really don't like letting go any of my pieces. I buy a lot of my stuff thinking like I want to hold on to this as much as possible. And I mean, I don't really have like a huge collection or anything. I try to like pick and choose. Like I try to just get like one example that I love and I saw this and I was like, oh man, when am I ever gonna get another Swamp Thing from Bernie Wrightson, right? Like I just had to get it.
You're like I told you when we spoke, privately. I think I'm really impressed, not only because you're again, you skew on the younger side in this hobby, but even having come in fresh, like we were all new at one point, and you were one of the few I find who managed to not get so caught up in it that you suddenly started buying everything that was coming across your face, like, oh, look at that. Oh, I got to get that. Oh, that's cool. I'll get that. You've been like from start to finish. Well, you're not finished yet, but from start till now, right? You've done a great job of just focusing on buying something. And you wait until you love something and then you buy that, right? You're not constantly buying things. It's just you love it. And okay, this one is the one I'm going to get. Like, it's I'm really impressed with how you've gone about building the collection.
I try, like there are times where I'm like, that looks awesome. I do want to get that. It's from a story I like. But yeah, sometimes I just try to tell myself like, what if something like I come to find out that there's always another example that comes up eventually. Like these days, I suppose. I'm sure that was harder in the past, maybe, but I've noticed in recent times, I'm noticing like certain like if I miss something either equal or better kind of pops up like sometimes a month, a year later, sometimes, and I'm like, maybe I should just, or if I don't really have the means to get it right then and there, like I try not to. But sometimes, like this one though, I kind of was like, what can I trade? I think someone asked what I traded for. It was it was a GI Herb Trimp, and it was
a GI Joe page.
Yeah, from it was an early issue. It was like I forgot what issue. I want to say it's like 4 or something, but it had Snake Eyes on it. And,
okay.
And so it took a lot of the cost out of it. So, and I added cash to it. So
Marcus claims that you traded 5,000 pogs because Bashar is big pogs.
Yeah, sure.
John is claiming that your Pokemon collection must have taken a huge hit that day.
Oh yeah, I mean that's not what I traded for, but yeah, if I had thought of that, I would have probably sold some on the side for sure to get.
That's funny. Mark says, "I am impressed with Dave's appreciation of the old school masters. Excellent taste."
Oh, thank you. Well, I mean, their stuff is just usually like I don't know. Every time I look at Bernie's work, it's just I'm just
Yeah, great art, great art's great art. Marcus is telling you if you wanted to, you could probably buy that G.I. Joe art back too.
I probably can, yeah. I think I did see it on the site still. So maybe one day. I do kind of want it back sometimes. I do like, because G.I. Joe was a big thing for me when I was young too. So,
Trimpy, Rick says Trimpy for Wrightson equals good trade.
No, thanks. Yeah.
Cobby claims you traded just a few Dogecoin.
Maybe that too. Not sure.
No, and Cab says, you've done excellently. All of us have to juggle our finances for the sake of our hobby. And that's true, you know?
Yeah, it's truly. Yeah.
You've done really, really well, honestly, Dave. So, yeah, be proud. You've built just a great collection in the time you've been doing this. And you've done it, like I said, I'm most impressed by how you've done it. Just methodically, slowly, one piece at a time, waiting for stuff that you like, instead of getting caught up and buying too much stuff and then being like, oh, what am I doing with this? Why did I buy this? Let me just sell this off to get the money back so I can buy what I really love. You know what I mean? Yeah. What's up? Comic Art Channel in the house. How's it going, Jason? Good to see you. Yeah. So, yeah, kudos to you is what I'm saying, Dave. Kudos.
Thanks. Thanks again. The chat's really, really awesome. Actually, I'm quite enjoying reading the chat and stuff. You guys are cool.
They're awesome, right?
They're really awesome. Yeah,
they're awesome. Exactly. That's what I say. I would stop my channel. I would just stop doing content every week if these guys stopped showing up. Because like I've said it many times. I do this because of them, right? Because it's a way to just regularly once a week chat with a bunch of cool dudes about, our hobby, as well as whatever we segue onto, colonoscopies and all sorts of shit that we talk about on my channel. I'm telling you, you've missed a hell of a lot, Dave. But yeah, that's why I do it. I would not do it if everybody took off and said, yeah, I can't, we can't show up on Sundays anymore. And I could continue by doing pre-recorded shows. I would never do it. If that's what was left to me, I would not do it, because like I said, I do it because of the camaraderie between us all. You know what I mean? That's what makes it fun. So, yeah, without being able to shoot the shit back and forth with everybody, yeah, well, to me, there's no point to do it, So I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad you appreciate them and all their comments and stuff, So, yeah, and Peter says you're a strategic collector. Yeah, that's a good way to describe you. Yeah, CJ, that's all it takes. This was a really great show. Many thanks. It's not over. Is it? Are you leaving? Are you leaving, Cab, or did you think that the show was over? But anyways, it's not over. But let us know if you're leaving. All right, let's continue, everybody. Next piece in tonight's show and tell is, what do we got here after Wrightson? Check it out.
Oh, this is pretty recent buy, actually.
Yeah, and it's got the character that we love.
Yep, they love the Golden Age Sandman. I was a really big fan of the Sandman Mystery Theater, and when I saw this book pop up, I was of course curious, and yeah, after reading, I was like, this is a great story with some pretty fun art. So I jumped on one of those Felix's sales, and I was happy to snag this piece. I really, I'm really a fan of these like kind of pages too, where like it's like a splash, but there are still panels in it. Like I feel like one of the more like things I like to, that one of the things I feel that is very like just like that makes a comic art look like comic art, at least, like is that panels, So I do like having panels within my splashes sometimes, or actually most of the time. I prefer them, like, I just like them. I just think it's fun, like these little snippets of like bigger scene. And when I saw this, I was like, oh yeah, this is an awesome page. And like I was like, and then I was enjoying the book at the time too. And I'm kind of glad that I read it and enjoyed it enough that I was able to like just jump in and buy it. Like I was like, yeah, next sale for this particular. Actually, when I saw this page, I was like, okay, this is the one I'm going to gun for, because I just like the whole setup,
Yeah.
And, yeah, That's that one. So this was a pretty. I think this is one of my more recent, like if not the newest, the one before the newest.
Okay, wow, it's much more recent than I expected. Okay,
this particular.
Oh, but that makes sense. That's why Hart mentioned here. He says, very cool layout. Haven't had a chance to read it yet. Waiting for the trade. I was thinking, what? What do you mean? I guess the trade's not out yet. I would have thought it was out yet, but I guess the series is still much more newer than I thought it was even.
Yeah, it's quite recent actually, and it's a pretty fun read. I loved it. It was great. I do like the original Sandman mystery stuff like way more because it's a little more gruesome and stuff. After like horror, like my next favorite like genre is kind of like crime and stuff. So I mean, like this stuff like totally fits the bill. I mean, I just love like kind of like the intensity that Sandman mystery theater had, which I felt this book didn't really go that deep into, like in that kind of stuff. But it was still a fun read overall. And again,
cool.
Characters just so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a great piece. Did you have to go? And by the way, CJ, exactly. After only a couple of hours, what are you talking about? How could you possibly think one of my shows would be over already? That's insane. I love the I wanted to say that I love the artwork, Riley Rossmo artwork, but I wanted to go back to it real quick and just ask you, here we go. So the sky, right? So that layer of that even gray in the sky, is that's just wash? Is that wash?
I think so, actually.
Okay.
Wait, it might be. I need to look at it again. I haven't looked at it in a while. I just stuck it in my, my. But actually, I think it might be. What's that? Is it Zipatone still? Like I don't know if that's the newer stuff.
Oh,
now.
Okay, yeah, but there's no pattern. There's no pattern to it. I mean, do they make Zipatone with no actual like dotted patterns? I mean,
might actually.
I don't know, but it looks kind of like I when I first saw it, I was like, oh, is this?
It's actually just a more. It's like a more finer like texture. It's still it's like little dots. Yeah, it's Zipatone.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, either way, it's very, very awesome, very cool. I love it. Great looking piece. Oh my God, who's come in? Wait a second. Yeah, new series. It's a new series with great artwork by Riley Rossmo. Thank you, Kat. I'm waiting for the Redcoats trade, but we'll pick this up as well. Okay. Look at that. Last week's guest. Awesome, Josh Flanders. Way! That was an awesome show last week. Thank you, Josh.
Show. I like that one.
Thank you to Sherry as well, your lovely wife, and to Ken. Good to see you, man. Good to see you, and thank you for dropping in, man. That's awesome. Carl says, we know that you like Redcoat. You've been mentioning it on those videos on your channel, Carl's Collection. So that's cool. Hey, Josh, Sandman's costume is pulpy and noirish. Exactly. I love it. Looks too uniform for a wash. That's what I was saying, Rick. That's why I was asking, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's like some sort of Zipatone or something. Like I don't know if that's exactly Zipatone, but it's something like it. It's like he cut it out and pasted it on, from what I can see.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it looks too even to be that, but yeah. Whatever. Either way, whatever it is, it's a beautiful piece. So, what I wanted to ask you though, Dave, did you have to fight it out with everybody else during the Felix drop for that? I'm
sorry, what was that again?
Because didn't you get that from Felix's website? Yeah. So did you have to did you show up there on the day that you knew the artwork was going on sale and you just quickly filled out the order for it and you got lucky?
Yeah, it wasn't one of those like super blowout ones that he normally has.
Oh no? Oh, okay.
It looked pretty good, but I would say like there was like a few stragglers around, but a lot of the nicer pages from the issue were like taken pretty quick. And I was happy to get this one, so
yeah. You got a great one. Peter says, Dave, I sense you like Zipatone pages based on your pickups.
I do like them. There's something about them.
Yeah. Is there anybody who doesn't like, who hates Zipatone? I love Zipatone. I mean,
it's so
yeah, the
it's
effects.
So
yeah, man. The effects they give off, it's just so cool, man. Love Zipatone. Cab remembers the drop. The drop was not as frenetic as, say, the DWJ drops. Right. Yep. Got you. Don't sleep on Ruben's drops. Mine, you've got all day. You've got all day to think about it on mine. You know, I don't. I just don't have that marketing savvy that like Felix has. You know, so you got all day. Let me see. No, that's not really true. If it's like a really sought after pages, you got to be pretty quick too sometimes. Love a layered look. Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Hate using it. Well, no, even inkers will tell you they hate having to do the whole cutting out of it. It's a pain in the ass, for sure. But it looks great. So from a view standpoint, you know, yeah, exactly, Peter. All right, let's move on here to the next piece, everybody. And from Riley Rossmo, Golden Age Sandman, we go to this cool piece.
Oh, Gotham Central. Yeah,
by the way, Dave, I just want to mention before you start talking about it, I love this series. Love this series. Just wanted to say it.
Yeah, that's exactly why I bought it. Like I love the series too. It was actually one of the first like books I was reading when I got into comic books. Like it was one of the things that my they saw that I liked. I was picking up mostly like Batman. I mean, like one of the first things I bought was like was Long Halloween, and yeah. So when they were starting to, they saw that I was kind of like going through my reads. He was like starting to suggest stuff, and Gotham Central was one of the first ones that he like popped out. He was like, yeah, it's just like police procedural, but it has like supervillains in it and stuff. But I was like, that sounds interesting. And yeah, I absolutely love this series. This is like still to this day one of my most favorite things I've read as well. And yeah, so when I saw a cover pop up of it, I've hardly seen much covers go up out there. I've never seen. I think I've only seen like twice or something, but I mean, I jumped at it once I saw it, and I think there's even fewer issues with Batman on them, like on the cover. Yeah. So I was super happy to like get this piece. My dad was actually the one who egged me to get this. He was like, I was like, what do you think of this, Dad? He was like, oh yeah, get that. I was like, okay.
Wow.
I didn't think so. Like usually my dad's a little like he would kind of like critique things like and like it's all right, and I'll be like,
yeah.
Like, oh, dude, like I don't know, I like it though, and like he was like, yeah, but this one he was like, yeah, that one's pretty nice. Like, okay, thanks, Dad. See you later. Not that it was like I don't ask. It's not like he just like I like hearing his 2 cents sometimes.
Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, that's fun when your dad's like, yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I get it. Like, oh, okay.
My dad's like he's not into comics and stuff like that, but he does appreciate like he actually likes a lot of the pieces that I do have, and he's like, wow, I do like these, and he like some people are like, oh, don't spend your money on that, right? Like, my dad's kind of like, no, it's like I'm fine with it. It's pretty cool. I really enjoy it, and he sees the value in it and stuff, and he enjoys just that it's something that I'm willing to hold on to and not just like flip around. So yeah, it's pretty fun. I'm glad he supports.
Yeah. I mean that's just that alone is a cool thing. So be thankful for that for sure. A lot of dads did not approve of their kids reading comics, and I was one of those people. So. Yeah. I did want to get to this one that I saved. Ruben, would you say Gotham Central was noir? I mean, I would say that it's kind of like a noir, police detective type thing. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's what you could call it. Yeah. Wait, are you going to bring up Blade Runner again? Whatever. Whatever. Okay. Yeah, no, but that's fun series, super fun series. And it's cool that you have that cover with bats because, like you say, right? He didn't he appeared throughout, but not often, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's pretty cool. And I don't know, I haven't taken a look in years. Off the top of your head, how many covers do you remember Batman being on? Covers, not issues inside, but on the cover.
Dang, I don't remember, but I feel like it's feel like less than 10 for sure.
Yeah,
Less,
that's what I would say. It feels like it would be for sure that.
it might even be less than that. But like, yeah, I know that it's only like what 40-ish issues or something. Omnidirectional mobility. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's yeah, I won't say less than 10, but it could be much less. Just a small handful. And all the covers are pretty cool though. The ones where he does appear on them. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. That yeah, awesome piece. How long have you had that one, by the way, out of curiosity?
Oh, that one's not too long either. Actually, that one's like in the last. I want to say it's like 3 or 4 years or something, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe
yeah.
No, that's
and by the way, I'm really curious about this one. How did you acquire that one? Like, what method?
This one on Calf Live.
Oh, that was a Calf Live pick. Okay, cool.
Actually, oh wait, go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say, how long? Like, at what point in the day? First of all, was it the first day? And if it was, how long into the day was it when you saw it and decided to take it?
I think I feel like I jumped on this like pretty middle. There was actually another oh, hi. But what do you call that? There was another Gotham Central piece at the same time, but it was the Joker one. So that one got bought pretty quick. So I think when I saw that, I kind of messaged the guy right away. It was like near the beginning or something, but I messaged the seller, and then I actually got this in the Venom page from the same guy. So I asked for a deal, and yeah.
The same guy as the Jock page.
No, the joke. I mean sorry, not the Joker page. The Venom page.
Oh, the Stokoe page. Okay.
Stokoe page. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. No, I do not want to know how much. I don't care about that. I don't care about that. It's not my business. Whatever. What else we got? Night, Jason. Yeah, Jason, if you're still listening, good night. Good night. Appreciate having you here as always. Have a good work week. Like Jason, good night, Jason. Later, Jason. And we do packaged deals. Oh, Dave and Ruben got to check out now as well. It has been a great show. Do take care, Dave, and may your collection grow from strength to strength. What a commenter he is.
I know. Thank you so much, Comic Boss, for stopping by. I love your comments.
Yeah, he's always got great comments. Thank you, Cap. I appreciate it as always. Continued safe travels to you, by the way. Thank you, as always, and yeah, be safe out there. Let's see. Look at you. You're saying good night. Thank you. See ya, Cab. Exactly. Good night, Cab. See you later, Cab. Good night, Jason and Cab. Thank you, Cab. Have a great one, Cab. Good chatting, Cab. All the goodbyes. Look at that. That's awesome. Look at that. And he's still here. Good night, everyone. Do take care. All right. Good night. And yeah, excellent. Let us move on now, everybody, to the next piece. The next piece that follows. I don't know which one it is. Which is the next one? Let's check this out. Check it out.
Oh.
Yeah. The Walking Dead, number 50 by Adlard and Rathburn. What a wild page you got here.
So Walking Dead was for like, again, this is one of those books that I was reading when I first started reading comics. It's like the guy knew I liked horror. Like after after a couple of months, he like realized like, oh, this dude likes horror. So he's like, hey, like you gotta check out this movie. You like zombies, right? And it's like, of course I do. I love like those movies like Dawn of the Dead, all the Romero stuff. I love video games like Resident Evil and stuff. And yeah, zombies are just, it's always that, it's kind of like that fantasy everyone wants to kind of try to experience, but in reality, I mean, people shouldn't want to experience something like this, but it's kind of like that like that whole survival thing, whatever, right? But yeah, no, I mean, when I read this book, I was like, Walking Dead is Walking Dead, right? I was just wow, I loved it all the way through. And so of course I had to get a page of it. And I do, I mean, like this particular, I mean, I just wanted a page with Carl on it for some reason, or like,
Oh, really?
And a lot of zombie carnage, like, just stuff like that. Like, and when I saw this, I was like, wow, this is one of the better stuff that I've seen. And I know they portrayed the scene, I think, too, on the show. So, and I remember it probably bit me. And no, I just loved it. And I was like, this is Walking Dead. So I needed to grab this.
And look at that. Look at that. Now we have Carl commenting on Carl's page. A wonderful example. He says, of course, Carl's going to stick up for Carl. That's funny. But, it's an excellent page. But I got to say, when I started watching the TV show, I hated him. But I think a lot of it had to do with how cheesy his hair was. Like it looked apparent that he had this bad wig, and I hate it. I don't know. In the comic, I guess because the artwork is not realistically styled, I can buy that, he's wearing the sheriff's hat or whatever. But in the TV show, I just thought it was so cheesy. And I spent a long time watching the show wishing he would die. Yeah, I also found him annoying. Didn't you find him annoying on the TV show? I just found like
there was a lot of things definitely on the TV show where I didn't like it as much as like there were certain characters that were like cool in the comic but were like lame in the show. And yeah, I mean, I took what we got though, for that and there. But Carl though in the comic books is he's pretty hardcore. So I was like,
yeah.
Like I mean, tell you the truth, I mean, I guess like everyone's like I liked Glenn so the most really, but I did like just kind of like carnage of the whole like scene that was going on the thing. Like, but I did like Carl too because of how like kind of like like crazy was in the comic books. It was kind of like this kid that was growing up too fast, and just So I don't know. In the show itself, I didn't really care much for him. So I guess it's like everyone like Glenn and Daryl, I guess, in the show. So I was in that boat too. So
okay.
Yeah.
Carl agrees, by the way. He says, you're not wrong. His characterization on the show was nowhere as interesting as the comic. Yeah.
Yeah, it was much more interesting in comic books.
Yeah. Maki Poo says, poor Carl, he's just a boy.
True.
So funny. But yeah, great page. Yeah. And I love the fact that I really have always dug pages that are done all in wide panel. Every single panel is just widescreen, right? Same size, especially. Yeah, it's just got a really nice storytelling look, and it really tells a story well. So really cool page. All right, let us move on to the next piece, everybody. Carl's sister is way more cooler on the show. I like the little girl; she was cute on the show. You're saying he's the Wesley Crusher of Walking Dead. Okay, Josh, I have to tell you, I was never a regular viewer of Next Generation, okay? That was kind of a show I watched every now and then, okay? But I have to say, God, I hated Wesley Crusher. Oh my God, I hated that. I mean, I think primarily because I just felt the actor was such a goddamn nerd. Like he was so geeky. Like it was just like too much. It was just too much to handle. I couldn't take him. I don't know. I don't know what it was. That's I don't know. That's what my memory is of it, of my feelings at the time. I really despised Wesley Crusher. Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Yeah. I was but he made up for it many years later. He made up for it. I kind of liked him when he would guest appear on The Big Bang Theory. As a friend of those guys, so yeah. Yeah. He's a boy with no dog, says Peter. Not allowed on the bridge. Here we go with the Star Trek. Ruben prefers the term cousin Oliver. I don't even know what that means. Wesley, I hated his stupid sweaters. Tell us how you really feel. I just did. Never watched the show. He was a good character in the comic. Oh, you mean Carl? I'm assuming you mean John. Will Wheaton, yeah, man, Will Wheaton. The Wesley Crushers. All right. Let's continue, everybody. Let's keep it going. Let's see. So next piece in the show and tell. There's like about a handful left, everyone, just so you know. And so let me see. We have Carl, and then we go from there to this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we get Hellboy again, or at least the whole Hellboy universe. But I picked it because, I mean, I know people like Hellboy, but I love Richard Corbin. So, yeah, had to show this.
I was actually reading some of his war and stuff like recently. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was reading that like Hitchhiker story. I
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I mean, it's so fun. Like, I mean, there's 3 really cool artists that work on Hellboy. I mean, one being Mike, the creator, and then Duncan, as we saw earlier. But then, my most favorite Hellboy stories have always been the one Richard Corbin would like do. I mean,
oh really?
Wow. Yeah, I mean, there would always. I mean, like the Crooked Man storyline was like they're making a movie out of it, which looks whatever. But the actual comic though was actually one of the first comic books that I read that I was like, damn, this is actually kind of scary. Like, and I was like, wow, like what about this is actually so creepy? And then like, not like I'm usually like books and stuff don't really creep me out. Like when they do, that's how I know it's like good, like, or I feel like it should be good. But yeah, like, I mean, he's done a lot of the coolest like Hellboy stuff. Like he's done a lot of the Hellboy Mexico stuff, which is really good stuff too. It's kind of wild, but there's still like heart in it. It sounds goofy, like because he pairs up with like luchador vampire hunters, but it actually has a lot of heart in it, and it's a really good read. But yeah, this particular page is from another like kind of loved character in the series, where his name's Roger the Homunculus, and this is like his first field mission or something like Hellboy. So it's kind of like a past story or something. But yeah, no, it's I just love Corbin's work.
Yeah, that's awesome, and it's cool. It's cool to see somebody from your age range who really appreciates. Not only do you appreciate Corbin, but for you to say at your age that he's like your favorite of the Hellboy artists, that's really, really awesome. Because most people your age would never even heard of Corbin. Now, of course, with you being a Hellboy fan, you can't help but have heard of him because he drew stories of the books that you like, But typically, you never. Yeah, I don't typically hear people who are like 20 years younger than I am, tell me, oh, who I like? I like Richard Corbin. It's pretty cool to hear you dig this guy's work that much. I love that, man.
I love this. Yeah, it's something.
Yeah, really cool one here says Carl enjoying these horror-centric selections. Yeah, Carl, I don't know if you missed it. I know you came in late. But Dave has made it clear he's a big horror fan, big fan of the horror genre. So that makes sense on the selections, Richard Corbin is another old school great that reflects Dave's respect for the art form. Yeah, that's for sure. And Marcus points out this was written by Mignola. Well, I thought they all were. I don't read it, so I don't know. But I thought everything is always written by Mignola, even though somebody else is drawing it. Isn't it not how it goes? Or did he start forming out the writing as well?
No, for the main Hellboy books, he's always the writer. But some of his like side stuff, he would be like the plotter. He would like say, okay, this is point A, this is point B. You write the middle. Like you write the details.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But for that particular story, yeah, it was Mignola who wrote all that. And,
okay. Okay, that makes more sense. All right, cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, happy that you have that in your collection and happy to show it to everybody. That's really neat. All right, let us keep it going, everyone. Next piece. Check this one out.
Oh, cool. So this is
Yeah, baby. Had to go back to the Swamp Thing, man. Had to go back to the Swamp Thing. And with all these great characters, oh yeah, awesome.
that's exactly why I bought this piece. It was yeah, it was just all these like characters I love from this like corner of the DCU and all in one page. And I mean, I love Alfred Alcala's inking. I love his inking. He's
Oh
great.
yeah, yeah. He's one of my all-time favorites, man.
And yeah, and oh yeah, and Stan. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Stan's last name.
Well, I've always said Walk
Yeah,
myself.
thinking that. Yeah,
Yeah, but I've never, unfortunately, had him be able to confirm it. So, but I just say Walk. I've said Walk.
yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking in my head, but I wasn't sure. But no, this was actually the first Alan Moore Swamp Thing page I ever purchased. Like this was a little earlier than my other ones, and yeah, no,
What a great page! What a great first Alan Moore Swamp Thing page to purchase, man. Jeez, you definitely don't fuck around. I'll tell you that.
I was quite happy to actually grab it. It was man, like this is actually one of my more favorite like issues too. Like I like as much as I like issue 50, I do like issue 49 because it was kind of like this. It was almost like this Seven Samurai type of story where like Swamp Thing and Constantine were like kind of gathering their forces to like fight this like great evil or something, right? And
Yeah,
no, it's just I mean, just I love all these characters, I mean, especially the demon. I mean, the demon's like my favorite Kirby creation. So
yeah,
I'm just happy to have him in there. And he actually like rhymes on page, and it's pretty awesome.
yeah,
I love
yeah.
the page.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna have a demon on a page, you know, how could you not? You want him, to be there at least rhyming at least in one word balloon, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Marcus makes a good point. Early Justice League Dark. I believe there was a time where I think when like Guillermo del Toro was trying to like make a DC Justice League Dark kind of movie, there a lot of
Yeah,
like there's a lot of speculation on this issue being kind of like the first actual appearance of Justice League Dark. But I mean, yeah, the idea for sure, but they never called themselves that or anything. I don't know. I just want to throw that out there, I suppose, but it's not. I don't know anything about it other than that. Just like I just love the story. Like I just love the gathering of all these kind of like supernatural DCU
yeah, the
characters.
supernatural characters. Yeah,
That's
yeah, no,
love them all.
absolutely fabulous, man. Love it, love it. It's like man, I remember reading it. When I was reading it monthly, and I remember when they got to that the story that it's what I don't know how many parts was it where it leads into and finishes in the annual number 2 where they go into hell.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
You
love
know?
that.
Oh God. Oh, what a great story. Oh my God.
It's
The
so good.
artwork, the story, it's just the beautiful combination of story and art, and yeah, just melding together, and just fantastic comic books, you know?
It was
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
I love
incredible
it
stuff.
so much.
Incredible stuff. Rogue is still here telling you another amazing Swampy page.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Very awesome. Okay, let's keep it going, folks. Let's keep it going. And we go from Swampy. Let me see now. Oh, and by the way, you got I wanted to mention too. Nobody seemed to mention. I love Deadman
I love
as well. I mean, I like American Stranger, but I love especially the appearances that Deadman would make in these storylines in the Alan Moore run. And he looked fantastic with these art teams, no matter who the art team was. Just love it. Anyway, I had to put that out there.
It's true.
Yeah. Okay, so Peter, just really quick. Peter says, I've seen Alcala art over the last year that gave me a much better appreciation of his inking as well as penciling. Oh, cool. Been a fan my whole life, Peter, so I'm glad that you're coming around to him. That's cool. All right, everyone, let us go to the next piece. And for that, we show you this.
Oh, and speaking of Kirby.
Speaking of the demon, yes, this was on purpose, everybody. I set it up that way, of course, but yeah, I had to.
Yeah, I mean, and with that being said, I mean, like, if you can see all my, actually, all of my Alamore Swamp Thing pages all have like the demon on it. And,
Yeah.
like I said, the demon is my favorite Jack Kirby creation, so I naturally have to grab a Jack Kirby demon thing. Of course, again, I did go back and read it, and you know, as like kind of like for the time, Jack Kirby's writing and stuff, like how it is, but.
Yeah.
I don't know. I loved it. I found it charming and stuff. Like I actually quite enjoyed. I really actually loved the issue too, where they do introduce that monkey demon too. Like those are my favorite issues from. I think it's actually the issue before this issue, but like I enjoyed that story so much, and the art was just mind blowing. I was like, wow, like
yeah,
I love this. Like I wonder if I can find pages from like the issue before. And yeah, I love Mike Royer's Son Kirby. It's like my favorite for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also happy birthday, Jack Kirby. Was very recently, I believe.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I mean, anniversary of what would have been his birthday. I guess he's not alive anymore to really celebrate birthdays anymore. But yeah, fantastic stuff. I love in the third panel how it looks. I know he wasn't. I don't think he was climbing it, but it appears like he had climbed the castle from the outside. Almost like a Quasimodo ish.
Yeah, it's quite cinematic. Like I imagine that like he's standing there and his cape's just blowing in the wind. Like it's just that like shot angle. Like I don't know. It's just I love that. I love that particular panel quite a bit too.
Yeah.
I actually like the top one. Just out of I just thought it's cool. Just like how it's set up.
Yeah, absolutely. Copy loves your page too. Great page, Dave.
Thank you, Copy. Really appreciate all the comments and everyone. Thank you.
Yeah. So really, really cool. Had to have the Kirby in there in the show and tell for sure. Can't leave that out, especially knowing how much you love Demon and knowing that I was going to show the Demon appearances, whatever, on the Swamp Things. I was like, okay, these are going to go together back to back. Yeah, for sure, So very cool. Okay. Only less than a handful of pieces to go, everybody. So we're almost done. And the next piece in the show and tell is this one.
Yep. Like so, I mentioned earlier, like there was like 3 pieces that I like ultimately like sought out for when I first started this like hobby, and an EC page from Graham Ingles was something I really wanted. I love Graham Ingles' work. Like it kind of stems to like it's funny. Like I see, like when I see Bernie Wrightson's work, I know he likes to say like he has a lot of his inspiration like from Frank Frazetta and stuff like that. But I see a lot of Ingles in his work too, and I think and I mean like Ingles like that one story like Horror We House by You or whatever that really man, like I remember when I first read that, I was just so like I don't know, I was like in awe just how amazing like that story was drawn, and ever since then I was like, man, I just want I want any Ingles just because Ingles is just I love his story, like the way he does horror, like it just looks like everything's like melting wax or something, and like it just fits the genre so well, and I just enjoy all of these EC things. And yeah, I mean I love everything about EC too. I mean I like how they had a very interesting history as a company too.
Yeah.
And just all, like all that stuff attached to the EC stuff. And it's funny because EC stuff like was actually some of the earliest stuff I read getting into comics as well. It's one of those things where like my comic shop knew I liked horror, and they're like, why don't you maybe you might like this old EC stuff? Like I'm like, sure, I'll try it out, and I absolutely loved it. I love all the artists, Jack Leeds and Wally Wood, all those guys, all those superstars. I love them. Like Graham Ingles though was my like favorite, just being like he was the ghastly Graham Ingles, he was the horror dude. So I really I was so happy to finally get that piece. Like I actually had a Johnny Craig piece before.
Oh,
yeah, and I ended up actually. So that's my second piece I traded. I traded because I was like I always wanted Ingles, and I my favorite host is always the Witch. So
Yeah, me too. Me
love
too.
The old Witch. So I
Yeah,
was like,
and I just want to say, if you had to only have one, I would still also rather have the Ingalls than the Craig.
yeah.
Anyway, so it's a good trade off, you know.
I appreciate. I love Craig too because he has that like crime noir like kind of thing, and
Yeah.
again, that's another genre I love. He always has this like noir, like crime twist to his like stories, but
Yeah.
I love the pure like supernatural horror. That Grammy. Yeah, I love them all. I love all the EC artists. They're all great. They're some of the best artists I think I've ever worked in comics, in my opinion. I just love all their work. It's so amazing.
Oh, for sure. That's why it's even to this day, all these, you think about it as a publisher, they didn't last very long. And yet all these decades later, it's still revered. Not only remembered, but revered and remembered. You know what I mean? So it just goes to show the quality that it was, especially at that time. So I have to ask though, Dave. I have to. What did you get in return for trading away your Craig page?
Oh, I got that.
It was EC for EC. Oh,
Yeah.
that's even cooler. Okay, that makes it even more like an even trade. Like, okay, yeah. Okay.
I was trying so hard to keep both, but financially, I was like, I have to get one. I really wanted both, though. I was so close to keeping it. I was trying to find so many ways to do it, but I just couldn't. I'm hoping I can get it back one day, maybe. I think I know where it is. But
yeah. The future, you never know what it holds. In this hobby, especially things you think you'll never see again, they come around again, So you just never know. And yeah, Carl, they did relaunch EC Comics. A lot of the older collectors and comic fans are all up in arms all over the internet. Oh, how dare they? Because they're purists, right? So nothing could ever be as good as the original. You shouldn't publish stuff called EC. Whatever, stupid. Having said that, though, if whoever's publishing them does a bad job, yeah, I would then kind of agree. I'd be like, Jesus, that's pretty pathetic. Hopefully, they're doing them justice. Hopefully they're getting good creators to do good stuff. So Dave has the horror uplight thing going on, a la Vincent Price. Oh, that's right. Perfect. That's perfect for tonight, man. I love it. Yeah. And yeah, exactly, Marcus. They'd rather have nothing. Yeah, exactly. Okay, 3 more to go, everybody. Let's get to the next one. And let me see where we are. So, yes. So, or is it 3? Hold on. Did I just do? Yes. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. So this next one, we go from from EC, and I believe we're coming back to the more contemporary era to show this. Yeah, look at that. You can't get more contemporary than DWJ Transformers.
Yeah,
look at that.
I love this book so much. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know, it took everything like that I liked them. I already love Transformers. I mean, I watched all the old movies. I watched all the I even watched the Michael Bay stuff too, which is actually I enjoyed at one point for sure, but I think they've kind of gone off the rails over there towards the later part. But I mean, I loved everything Transformers when I was a kid. I loved like the G1 stuff. I mean, I like Beast Wars and stuff. And I don't know. I still buy Transformers from time to time. So, like having this book come out and being just how awesome as it is, I knew I needed to get a page. I was reading, I was loving it. No matter, I was like, dude, I don't think I would not like this stuff. It's just, and then with DWJ, I love his work. He as an artist, he did actually, and as a writer, maybe more importantly as a writer, actually it made me excited about comics again. Like I haven't, just that Justice League Dark run back then was like the last thing I bought, and then this was like the most recent thing that I bought. because I just love his work so much,
Yeah.
And I was like, man, dude, like, cause I liked his like style, but I never bought him. Like, I never tried getting a piece of his art from because none of his stories really kind of like connected with me. I know he did Wonder Woman and Beta Ray Bill, but I was never really a fan of those characters. Like, well, Wonder Woman a little bit, not as much as Batman or something, right? And this was the book when I saw him do it. Like, I always loved his art. I loved his commissioning work, and like when I saw that he's doing Transformers, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta check this out. I have to buy comics again, right? And yeah, this particular page, I mean, again, like I love like manga and stuff like that. This reminds me so much of like manga with all the speed lines and like when I saw this, I was like, oh dude, that's Optimus Prime like drifting, right? Like
Yeah.
he's doing like initial D right here or something. And I don't know, I just love the page. Again, also it's one of those pages where like it's it's like kind of like a splash, but it has panels. So I absolutely like, when I saw it, like at first I thought this was a page I would gun for. I was just thinking like, oh yeah, when I saw this page instantly, I was like, like this is in this issue when the art drops, this is what I'm going for because I just yeah. I do want to check out and do a power bomb though. I was never really into wrestling and stuff like that, but it does.
Me too. Me too. I mean, me neither. Yeah.
So I will definitely check it out just based on that I like Transformers, So
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. Hear a lot of good stuff. A lot of people I know love to do a power bomb. But like you're saying, I was never. I mean, I can't say never. When I was younger, I was never a huge fan, but I did sometimes watch when I was younger. But for the most part, and haven't been a big wrestling fan. I can't say so. That's why I was always like, yeah, everybody's telling me it's so good, so good. But I think was it last week? You guys can tell me. My memory, my memory. I can't remember if it was last week or the week before, but kind of when we talked about this, and I said, yeah, but is it like good because it's objective? You can objectively say it was good, Marcus, or is it like you have to kind of be, you have to have been a wrestling fan to really appreciate it, right? And so that's the things. I really feel like you kind of have to be a wrestling fan to appreciate it. So, yeah. And Tom says that Murder Falcon is great too, but a lot of people said that as well. Yeah, Do a Powerbomb was great, says Carl. Also really enjoyed Murder Falcon. Yep. Ruben only had Canadian bad guys to root for. Jesse Ventura greater than Nacho Libre.
acting Predator.
Oh yeah, that's well. The trans story. That's the story transcends wrestling. I don't know. Maybe I'll try it. I might. In college, we did power bombs. Oh, CJ, it has heart with a wrestling backdrop. Okay. You know what? In that case, I'll tell you guys. I'll be open to trying it because I'll tell you why. Some of you may know I collect some strip art, and my favorite newspaper strip is Mary Perkins on Stage, which 99.9% of people think is a soap opera strip because it's set in the New York City theater world. But it really reads, it's like an adventure strip because every storyline has Mary Perkins jetting off to some location, on the premise that she's going to go do an acting job, but then gets embroiled in some kind of murder mystery or, something like that. It's fantastic. So it's really an adventure strip set against the backdrop of the Broadway type theater, So because of that, I was open to trying that, and I ended up loving it. So I'll be open, and I'll do a power bomb a try. Why not? I'll do that. I know nothing about wrestling, and I love Do a Powerbomb, says Tom. Okay. Okay, so even more reason to give it a shot. That's cool. Jesse's still working conspiracy, says Dan. Not a wrestling. Rogue says I'm not a wrestling fan, and I loved it. Wow. Okay, you're making me want to like try it even more now. Jesse has. Who's Jesse? Who are you talking about, Dan? Jesse has a secret knowledge. Watch out. He may lead you to that secret shopping mall military base. Are you talking about Power Bomb?
I think maybe Jesse did.
Oh, Jesse Ventura? Oh, maybe. I don't know. You guys are throwing me off. Mary then did a power bomb on them jabronis. Oh, boy. It is a cool strip, well illustrated. Which one, CJ? Mary Perkins? Because if so, then you're right, of course. Okay, Dan, you were right, Dave. He was talking about Jesse Ventura. That's so funny. Do a power bomb greater than rollerball? Is rollerball good? Wrestling is still a very important part of the story, but it's all about the character relationships. Okay, I got you. I'll see if I can try that. Okay, let us get on with this, folks. I got a couple of more pieces to show you all before we call it a night. Though I'm happy to report that not only is it not going to go 4 hours tonight, but even if it did, you're all on Labor Day, or most of you anyways. So you don't have to work tomorrow. So that's awesome. Even you East Coast guys. Okay, so let's see here. We got a couple of pieces left. Yeah, okay, that's what I figured, CJ. Thank you. A couple of pieces. All right, so the second to last piece tonight, everybody. Got to go back to the well one last time because Dave loves it. It's his stuff. Got to show it. Let's do it. And this time by the original artist and creator. That's why I ultimately had to do it. Check it out.
Yeah. A B.P.R.D cover. This is, I mentioned 3 pieces that I wanted to get. This is the third one. This is actually the first one I actually chased when I said if I could get one of the 3, I think this was the one I would probably be able to hit. So
yeah,
I messaged Mike one day and asked if this particular cover was out because I love this particular storyline. It's like I like going back to like movies and stuff. I love like World War II movies, like of course Saving Private Ryan type of stuff.
Oh yeah,
Fury, The Longest Day. I love all those all those
that's
old
awesome.
movies too, and so like the World War II era, even though the story in Hellboy never actually takes place during World War II. Only he was like found during World War II, but everything happens like right after. But this was like really right there post World War II and had still the kind of like feel of the era and stuff. And I remember reading this book and thinking like, wow, like this would make like the greatest movie ever, like some action supernatural like fun like action flick. And I just totally love this story. And so I mean, I knew the hardcover was coming out, and I loved the image because, again, another favorite story from Hellboy I like was a story called Pancakes, where it features Hellboy when he was young, as a kid, like that, as depicted on this cover, and how he eats for the first time pancakes, and then it's just a really silly, short, like 1 or 2 page story where like Hell realizes they're never going to get him back because he like enjoyed pancakes or something. So it's this story that I always loved, and I always wanted Hellboy depicted not as himself, but more so like when he was a child. And so I mean, this like fit the bill, just that World War II era kind of thing with the like nice little mushroom cloud in the back, and
oh yeah, that's cool.
It's just it's just, and all those like gothic elements that he has, like the skulls and the statues. I mean, it's very Mignola. I absolutely love Mignola. So, I mean, I contacted him. I asked if this particular piece was available, and luckily it was, and I was able to acquire it. And it's never left my collection since, and I don't think it ever will. So, yep.
Yeah. It's fantastic, man. It's fantastic. It's so cool. Yeah, it's great. You got multiple pieces from this this property, and you got I mean the The Fegredo is great. I mean, obviously Corbin, you know how I feel about Corbin, but if you're a big fan of this IP, how can you not have at least one by its creator? You got to have the Mignola one, right? So yeah, man. I mean, like, yeah, you did really well here. And how difficult was it procuring this particular piece?
You know, I don't know if I was just lucky that day or something, but I messaged him and I got a message like literally like maybe an hour or two after or something, if I remember correctly. And yeah, I was kind of surprised they responded to me. It was like on his website. I just hit that little, that email us kind of button. I was like, hey, I was wondering if you have this piece still. I'm kind of interested, And his wife responded, and she said, "Oh, yeah, this one's for sale. We can give it to you." And so I was like, "Okay, I would love to." And I just met them locally, and they're pretty close local here. And so I met up with him at a local shop in somewhere in Don Beach or something. And yeah, it was a good experience, and I was just so happy to have it.
It fits your collection to a T, so it's right up your alley. It's what you want. I mean, you have to have that piece, so I'm glad you have it.
I'm glad too.
It's perfect. I'm sure you are. Wanted to say, John, where's your comment here? Oh, sorry, not Josh, John. It is a great way to close the show. However, in keeping with, because that was the 20th piece, but in keeping with this lovely gentleman who we had on last week, those of you who were here last week will remember I decided to close the show in a way that was showing something that wasn't necessarily the piece that everybody would thought would be the greatest piece, like the big showstopper I try to usually close shows with, but rather something that was great because of its meaning, the meaning behind it, and it was very meaningful to Josh, and it was meaningful to me, and it had nothing to do with me. So in keeping with that way of closing last week's show with Josh, I decided to add a 21st piece for tonight for those same reasons. And Daniel, by the way, is telling you great piece, David. And John, you have been bamboozled. I like to throw you guys curveballs once in a while. He does not have Mannix.
I wish he did.
See, he wishes he did. He's another convert. You got to get in on that. Hellboy Mannix would be awesome. I kind of feel like the way Mannix draws, it would look like the way Corbin draws, but like Mannix. It's kind of a similar sensibility.
I also like pieces. They were pretty cool. Mannix's Swamp Thing stuff was pretty cool.
His Swamp, yeah. I like most of the stuff he does, pretty much. Yeah. But yeah, so I want to show this final piece, and sorry, before we show it, just one last thing, Dave. Can you answer this quickly? If you've seen them both, Tom wants to know: Kelly's Heroes or Dirty Dozen, which is the best movie of that time?
I haven't seen Kelly's Heroes, so I don't know Dirty Dozen, I suppose. I've actually never heard of it. I'm probably gonna check that one out. But I don't, with Harrison, funny enough, like bring Harrison Ford though. For some reason I was thinking of that movie Force 10 from Navarone. It's like a silly movie, but
okay.
I don't think it's from it, but I mean, you should check that out. To see like Harrison Ford, right?
Number one Marvel fan. Tom says, "What?"
Yeah.
Hey, listen, it's like, listen, Tom, like Peter said, he was really impressed, and you should be impressed. Just the fact that a 34-year-old is really into war movies, including those like some older ones, that he mentioned earlier. So that's impressive already. So yeah, man, I wouldn't come on Dave him, Tom.
Well, I think it's easier. I mean,
John said he prefers the dozen, but both are great.
Yeah, Mark said it is an awful movie, but it's funny.
Awful Force 10. Yeah. Mark says, have you watched Where Eagles Dare?
Yes, War Eagle's there though. I like that one. That one's
Okay, leaves both of those other ones for dead, he says.
good.
Yeah. And
I
Carl
agree.
said
Yep.
The Great Escape. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I own The Great Escape. I have that one, yeah. And Guns of Navarone, much better, says Peter. I don't know. I haven't seen that one.
I'll check it for sure.
Yeah. But okay, everybody, let's get to that last piece to close out the show. And no, Marcus, the final piece does not have Josh Flanders on it.
Actually, so I love that
what's
piece. Wife. I love that piece with his wife, Josh's.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That was awesome.
Come on. Yeah. How can you? How can you not? Except Stanley, the only guy last week who was like, "Oh, why'd you show that piece?" Like, whatever, Stanley. He's the only one. He's the only one who just doesn't feel sentimental feelings for anything or anyone, I guess, you know. Ruben wants Guns of Sly Stallone. I definitely do not. Definitely do not. Is Ruben a favorite actor? Not really, but I will tell you, back in the 80s, I was super, super high on Eric Roberts. After I had seen Star 80, okay, Star 80 from, I believe, 1980 or 1981, the Dorothy Stratton story, right? The Playboy playmate who was ultimately murdered by her boyfriend, played unbelievably, incredibly well by Eric Roberts. One of his earliest films. I just became a huge fan, and so but then he started doing crappier movies, straight to video, whatever, because he picked up a what do you call it? The reputation for being hard to work with, blah blah blah, whatever, you know. But now, other than that, no. After that, no, I don't typically have favorites of anything. Tom, whether it's band or song, color, food, whatever. There's too many great things in the world to have one favorite of anything, I feel, you know. Josh, by the way, tells you, thank you, David. He appreciates it about what you said about his final piece there. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, just a quick couple of let me get to the last piece, people. A couple of recommendations. Attack and Hell is for Heroes. Ruben wants Eric Roberts' hair. No, I don't. Well, I wish I still had a lot of hair to say that I could do whatever with like hair like his. Julia Roberts. I hated Julia Roberts. No, I was never a fan of hers. And I admit part of it was because his career sort of, went into difficulties and hers skyrocketed. But also because I always felt she was overrated. I didn't think whatever that prostitute movie, whatever it was called, what's it called again? The one that made her famous in 89 or 90? Whatever. I didn't think she was all that great. Whatever. I don't know. Overrated anyways. Best of the best. Pop it. He was like, pop it in. Yeah, I love that. What's up, Caesar? Hey, and how about was it Midnight Train with what's his face, Angelina Jolie's father? He's like John Boyd when they're running in the middle of dead winter, and he's like he can barely catch up to him because he's running in his bare feet. He's like I need some fucking shoes. He's like chasing after him. He's like, Manny, I need some fucking shoes, Manny. Oh my God, so good. I love that. Oh, Eric Roberts. I will always love Eric Roberts. Anyways, okay. So Dorothy Stratton was Canadian indeed. Best of the best. Yeah, good fun stuff. I remember that. Yeah, for sure. Ruben loves the Mr. Brightside video. I loved that song when it came out. I still love it. And of course I love the video because he was in it. Obviously. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, thank you, Josh. Thank you. Yeah, Pretty Woman. Yeah, so yeah, whatever. I just always thought she was kind of overrated, whatever. Pretty Ruben. 3,000? What's that? 3,000? I don't know. Sorry. Ruben's a Hasselhoff guy. I'm definitely not. Except for Kit, Knight Rider. But I haven't seen it since it originally was on TV, so I don't know that I would like it if I saw it again. I have a feeling it would probably be way too cheesy, but I don't know. I'd rather just stay with my memories than try watching it again. That's right. Midnight Express. Yeah. Thank you, Josh. Finally, a movie talk to close out the show. Eric Roberts was cool in Batman. Okay, he's always a cool guy. But anyways, okay, let's check out the last piece, everybody. And for that, let's let Dave talk about this a little bit. And it's got a connection to stuff that we've seen tonight already. So let's check this out.
Oh yeah, my a Bernie piece, or my other one, my actual Swamp Thing one.
And not just the piece, Dave, but of course I had to do this too.
Oh yeah, this is my favorite thing that's ever happened at a con. And
awesome.
Bernie was such a kind person. He was an awesome person to talk to. We had a great conversation. And a fun story I've had about this piece. So in seeing this and stuff, of course, wanting to buy a piece and all this, but the thing that I remember most about this page is that after all this and talking about it and actually came to this particular con for an assignment for school. I was a photography student, and it was it was like a photojournalism thing. So I was paired up with some person that do a story on the con, and I offered. I was like, oh, I can go out and try to get you or try to get some interviews or some comments and stuff, and some creators that I know that are very respected in the industry and whatnot, or just kind of and so I got talking to Bernie about it, and I just wanted for myself. I was like, I just want to chat with Bernie some more because he's such a cool dude. And I asked him, would you be willing to have an interview for our school paper and whatnot? And he totally said yeah, and he gave his phone number and told me to call him up in a week. And we had a nice conversation, and it's quite long too. And I recorded for so I can log in and whatnot, and submit it to my school for some sort of for a story in the paper. But sadly, though, it didn't make it into our paper at school. But a couple years later, though, so I was reached out by some dude who wanted to make a fanzine for Swamp Thing, and it ended up in there. So I was kind of oh, it actually got published. I was like, oh, that's fun. And it's funny, I make I do stuff, or I make movie posters and whatnot as a living. But from all the things I've done, I felt most proud of this because I don't know, it was just such a fun thing. I had so much fun, just having this interaction with Bernie. So I always said this piece was a reminder of that day, and this would probably be the last piece that I would ever sell in my collection, just because of the sentimental value to it.
There you go, and that's exactly why I thought it was a great way to close out the show and tell and keep it as the last piece. Yeah,
and the Holland Files is the name of the fanzine. Yes, you're correct. Road Warrior.
Yeah. And Carl says it's all about the story. Yeah, he means the story behind the art. And, yeah, for sure. And Mark says great photo.
Thanks, Rogue.
There we go. Rogue says the Holland Files.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. John JJJ must have been the publisher of the school newspaper. J. Jonah Jameson. Yeah, those rotten kids.
Said nope, we will not publish it.
Oh, that's so funny. That is so funny. But yeah, man, that's awesome, man. I'm so happy to see that. I was like, oh, when I realized I could do that, I was like, wow, what a coincidence, and how great would it be to do 2 consecutive show and tells back to back weeks, closing out with something that has a lot of sentimental meaning, And I was like, yeah, I got to do that. Originally, I had put another piece as the last one, and I was gonna actually start off tonight's show with that Bernie piece,
Oh.
Yeah, and then I thought, No, I think it'll be good to just close with it. I think it'll fit better, because there's more of a story and a sentiment behind it, and I just think figured it would work better, So, Rick, I don't know what that icon. What is that? Is that? It's a cigarette, a burning cigarette, I guess. Yeah, that's what I think it is. Ruben the Sentimentalist. You know me, Marcus. You know me. And by the way, Marcus, way back, I don't know, did I end up highlighting the comment about where you said, why would Ruben show a Transformers page by DWJ? Because it's good stuff, and because I show good stuff all the time. What else? What other reason would I show that for? Come on, man. You know me better than that. Great collection of prime examples, Dave, says CJ.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, JC says, super nice collection, Dave. Thanks for sharing. And we got, thanks for sharing your collection, Dave. Great show tonight, as usual. I missed some pieces. Rewind time. There you go. Rewind, Carl. Get to it, baby. Get to it. There you go. There's Dave thanking you all. Great show, Dave. Amazing collection. Fab memory. That kind of connection is central to what we are, says Peter. Yeah, man. That's the kind of stuff what it's all about to me, The stories, like Carl said, the stories behind the art, oftentimes are better than the art itself. Tom says, awesome collection, Dave.
Thank you.
Josh, last week's awesome guest, says, David, you have an excellent collection. Love all the horror and especially the Hellboy B.P.R.D. So there's another fan. Yeah. Great show, fellas. Awesome collection, Dave. Catch you on CAF, IG, Night Chat. Thank you, Kavi. Appreciate it, dude.
Thank you.
And good night to you, Dan. Thank you again, as always. Great show, Dave and Ruben. Great show. Thank you, Hart. Appreciate you hanging out tonight. As always, thank you for everything.
Thank you.
And Marcus with the big ups, Dave. Got Jeff Wedding. Great show, fellas. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. Have a great week ahead. Everybody have a great week. Exactly. And Mark loves this. Mark always loves this saying. That's how he describes his collection. I want to focus on all killer, no filler. Yeah. So you're a man after his own heart. That's why he's saying that. So that's awesome. Thanks, Mark. Sweet collection. Love the show. Awesome. Thank you, Rick. Always love having you here. You know that. Appreciate it. You have a great collection and an eye for art, says Peter.
Thank you.
Tom Kaczlowski, thank you, by the way, for hanging out the entire show tonight, Tom. Thank you, man. Be good in Chicago, buddy. Great show, he says. Good night, all. Have a wonderful week, all, says Carl. Yes, exactly. Amazing collection, says The Rogue.
Thank you.
Thank you for dropping in again. It's been a while, so always a pleasure, Rogue. Thank you. Thanks, Dave Rubin. Thank you, CJ. Appreciate you. Thank you all, of course, in the chat. Great show, Ruben. Hey. Thanks, Sean. I appreciate it. And I'm going to close this out, of course, with So Say We All. Indeed, Peter, indeed. I'm going to close it out by putting up the... I wanted to say... Here, let me show this one. Josh, if you're still there, we need to do a movie show. I know, Josh, I know, and Tom, our buddy, Chicago Tom, not Kaczlowski, but McDonald, he had mentioned that when we were talking about, giving me the idea to contact you to do the show and tell, whatever. But just so you know, we already have done 2 movie shows here on this channel, just FYI. You might want to check those out, but I'll be in touch. I'll be in touch about that. It's maybe we can kind of revive the idea again. So I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, let me leave you guys with away we go. Yeah, let me leave you guys. Stick with me here for it is always a train wreck, isn't it? Not always, but don't go anywhere. Don't hang up on the call. Okay, Dave?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay,
Thanks,
thank you. And yeah, thank you to all of you. As always, appreciate you. Those of you watching on Rewind right now, appreciate you as always. I can't express the thanks that I have for you guys as well. Always love that you come by whenever you can to watch it when you can't come live. And those of you who are here every single week or almost every single week, appreciate you guys as always. Of course, you guys know, without, like I said earlier in the show, without you guys, I wouldn't do this at all. So you guys make it, you make it fun for me to come and have a place to hang out every week. You know, so that's what I love about this, and you guys coming here every week, showing up like clockwork, man. So I appreciate it. John C, thank you. Have a good night as well. I appreciate you, bud. And I will leave you out with the thumbnail for next week's show and close on that as always. Don't forget, everybody, that next week's Comic Art Hangout episode number 30 is going to be, let's be honest, it's going to be fun with Nick. But it probably will be very long. But then again, Nick said Pam would kill him if he stayed too long. So it may not be as long as you think it might be. But either way, show up. It should be a fun time. Definitely going to be a fun time. So thank you again, everybody. Have a great week. Enjoy your Labor Day, those of you who have it off tomorrow. And yeah, come back here. Check out Nicky B next Friday for his claim show, as always, on the EXP. And then come back here, please. Would love to see you all again next Sunday at the usual 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. Until then, go blue.